What's up guys, it's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have what if Issei awakened the boosted gear earlier, the movie. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes for this, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get to the little preview here. Issei Hyoudou is the son of ex-Maoh Zor'ol Hyoudou and the greatest human mage in history, getting the attention of all the factions. Issei is the most overpowered boosted gear user in history. In this story, Issei will be more intelligent. That's all I'm going to give as hints. Thank you so much for the support. It's been absolutely amazing. Once again, let's try to hit 1,000 likes. This is a one-shot movie, so it'll be released all in the same time. If you guys want to know exactly when I upload / my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. A special thank you to my balance breakers: Rob the King, Lachlan Yates, Atomic Warlord 58, Crumbling Darkness Fear, Madly Wolf 333, VR Wolf #2347, Sinrar Q, Jordan Patchow, Mazaku, Dr_MLG_ is the bomb, and Asimodus for becoming a balance breaker, which is the highest membership tier on the list. I cannot thank you guys enough. Seriously, if you guys want to see what ifs on my other channel, go click down in the description below. What ifs on Goku and other animes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Prologue. Issei Hyoudou, son of ex-Maoh Zor'ol Hyoudou and the supreme magus Elizabeth von Einzbern, was born with two sacred gears, Sacred Gear Plunderer and the Boosted Gear. From a young age, Issei showed overwhelming talent for martial arts and magic, which makes him a target for all three factions. In a good way. Starting from the age of 4, they all tried their best to persuade Issei into joining them, but to no avail. One day, after school, Issei was walking home then he heard footsteps behind him. Young Issei, we meet again. 5,554th, Issei thought to himself. For the 5,554th time, Mr. Hyoudou, I will not serve the church. Mr. Hyoudou, who is Irina's father, by the way, but why? Isn't it great to serve your Lord and Savior? At this rate, I might just kill him out of sheer annoyance, Issei thought to himself. Mr. Hyoudou, do you know what a railgun is? Lightning is circulating through Issei's right arm, and he is holding a coin. Yes. Oh, crap, Mr. Hyoudou said. As Issei sent Mr. Hyoudou into the stratosphere, all the way until space with his railgun move. This were never out. Geppo! Issei propels himself with magic into the air after Geppo's back all the way to his home. Now, at Issei's house. Ah! Zor'ol said. I told you, Zor'ol. You will never get away from me. The mysterious person chuckles. Damn you, Rizavim, Zor'ol says. As Rizavim charges up a blast of magic, Elizabeth jumped in front of him to take the blast. Elizabeth, no! Zor'ol screamed in sorrow. Ha! Now it's your turn. Time skip to when Issei gets back to his house. Issei sees his parents dead on the ground, and a white-haired devil in a teleportation circle right before he disappears. Mom? Dad? This is a joke, right? A tear escapes his eye. This can't be real. No! Issei starts screaming and awakens his boosted gear. That is the end of the prologue. Prologue. Issei Hyoudou, son of ex-Maoh Zor'ol Hyoudou and the supreme magus Elizabeth von Einzbern, was born with two sacred gears, Sacred Gear Plunderer and the Boosted Gear. From a young age, Issei showed overwhelming talent for martial arts and magic, which makes him a target for all three factions. In a good way. Starting from the age of 4, they all tried their best to persuade Issei into joining them, but to no avail. One day, after school, Issei was walking home then he heard footsteps behind him. Young Issei, we meet again. 5,554th, Issei thought to himself. For the 5,554th time, Mr. Hyoudou, I will not serve the church. Mr. Hyoudou, who is Irina's father, by the way, but why? Isn't it great to serve your Lord and Savior? At this rate, I might just kill him out of sheer annoyance, Issei thought to himself. Mr. Hyoudou, do you know what a railgun is? Lightning is circulating through Issei's right arm, and he is holding a coin. Yes. Oh, crap, Mr. Hyoudou said. As Issei sent Mr. Hyoudou into the stratosphere, all the way until space with his railgun move. This were never out. Geppo! Issei propels himself with magic into the air after Geppo's back all the way to his home. Now, at Issei's house. Ah! Zor'ol said. I told you, Zor'ol. You will never get away from me. The mysterious person chuckles. Damn you, Rizavim, Zor'ol says. As Rizavim charges up a blast of magic, Elizabeth jumped in front of him to take the blast. Elizabeth, no! Zor'ol screamed in sorrow. Ha! Now it's your turn. Time skip to when Issei gets back to his house. Issei sees his parents dead on the ground, and a white-haired devil in a teleportation circle right before he disappears. Mom? Dad? This is a joke, right? A tear escapes his eye. This can't be real. No! Issei starts screaming and awakens his boosted gear. That is the end of the prologue. Chapter 2. By the way, don't get confused. Chapter 1 was the prologue. Chapter 2. Road to Vengeance. After Issei's accidental awakening of the boosted gear balance breaker, his house and the area around it would have been completely destroyed if Mr. Shido didn't step in just in time to set up a barrier around Issei's house. Mr. Shido, when holding Issei's unconscious body. Well, would you look at that? Not only is he talented in magic, but he is also in possession of the mid-tier Longinus class in Sacred Gear. Dad, what's the Sacred Gear? Irina says. I will tell you in due time, Irina, but for now, Mr. Shido thinks to himself. 3 days later, scene break. Issei woke up in an unfamiliar. Where is... Issei, you're awake! Irina says. Oh, hey, Irina, what happened? He got a flashback of what happened. Issei's eyes turned red for a second, then turned back to normal. Issei? Irina says. Issei says in a slightly demonic voice. I'm fine, Irina. Issei then walks downstairs with Irina. He sees Mr. and Mrs. Hyoudou sitting on the couch in the living room. Mr. Hyoudou smiles. Ah, look who's awake. Alright, before you ask me, the answer is still no, Issei says. Time skip for 3 years. Brought to you by a person. So time skip 3 years later. For 3 years, Issei has been living with Irina's family, and he would be often visited by the Pope. Little did Issei and Mr. Hyoudou know, the reason the church put Issei under Mr. Shiodou's care is that the church wanted Issei to be separated from the rest of the devils. But that isn't going to hold our Issei back. Every single night, Issei sneaks out of the house to practice his sacred gear and magic, and steal every single sacred gear he comes across. And if you want to know what happens to the users, well, yeah, it isn't pretty. In order for him to hide under the radar, he has to get rid of every single evidence of his existence, like killing any members of factions that saw him. One day, as he got back from training, as soon as he gets into bed, he passed out. When he opens his eyes, he saw a dark sky erupting volcanoes all around him. Then he saw it. A giant black dragon with dark flames surrounding it. So we finally meet, son of Zor'ol. Before we get into the conversation, would you mind explaining why I turned black? Drake says. That's because of my influence, the mysterious person says. You see, anyone in possession of the plunderer is bound to be influenced by it. First, the color of their mana would turn black. Second, any magic they cast would be amplified, and the color scheme would be black, crimson, or both. That includes sacred gears too. And you are? Drake says. Oh, pardon me. I am Sebzatine, the demon that is sealed inside the plunderer. Am I seriously being left out of the conversation? Issei says. Oh, no, you are welcome to join, Sebzatine says. Alright, so would you mind explaining my lineage? I know the Hyoudou family and the church are trying to hide something from me, Issei says. Sebzatine and Drake start to explain that Issei is the son of ex-Maoh Zor'ol, and he is a pure-blooded devil. Issei was not surprised, because the members of the church treated him horribly when they came over to the Hyoudou's house, and he was even banned to go to the church. It was really no surprise that he is a devil. So I'm a devil, huh? That explains why they've always been acting so suspiciously around me, knowing that I better get a move on before they have a chance of hunting me down, Issei says. Then, Issei, Drake, and Sebzatine discussed his plans for the future and how he should be trained. And that is the end of Chapter 2, Road to Vengeance. Chapter 3, Finally Free. Issei has been living with the Hyoudou family for 2 years now. Over the course of that time, he developed his own magic named Trace On. He got the idea when he saved a boy named Kiba, then the magic made after his sacred gear, Sword Birth. It is capable of making any weapons he can imagine, as long as he has the mana to make them. The more powerful the weapons is, the more mana it consumes. He is currently able to make a holy sword that is capable of turning into light, and also launching a giant light beam, as well as 100 other less powerful swords. Unknowingly, he has just made a sword that even surpassed the original Excalibur. Alright, enough with the explanation. Let's move on to the Hyoudou family. They have been acting weird around him lately. After a bit of investigation in torturing, he discovered that one of the high priests accidentally told Mr. Shido that Issei is a devil. So that's why they've been acting so weird around me lately, Issei says. Young master, if I was you, I would set a plan in motion immediately, Sebzatine says. Agreed, so it's decided then. I will take care of Mr. and Mr. Hyoudou tonight and take my way to the underworld. His eyes flickered red for just a second. Later that night, I'm home, Issei says. Mr. Hyoudou. Ah, Issei, welcome home. Before Mr. Hyoudou could even react, Issei drove a code meat of black and crimson lightning through Mr. Hyoudou, killing him on the spot. Mrs. Hyoudou and Irina go at the same time. No! Irina, I will say this only once. Boosted gear, balance breaker, Avenger, Drake says. Get out of my sight, Issei says. No, I am not leaving my mom here to die, Irina says. Mrs. Hyoudou says. Irina, please run, and don't look back. After Irina ran, Issei dragged Mrs. Hyoudou across the floor in extreme height speed and threw her up in the midair. Boost! ×9. Explosion! Ha! Issei said. Bodika Sika, Issei silently whispers. Ha! What a beautiful fireworks I see, Issei says to himself. As the explosion ended, Issei saw an army of exorcists heading his way. Oh, what a great welcoming party. I suppose that'll do for a nice warm-up, Issei says. Now, which sacred gear should I use? Oh yeah, the one I got by beating the shit out of that spoiled brat, Issei says. He deactivated the boosted gear and summons a lance with spikes all over it. Ready to die, Christian sons of ambitions, Issei says. How dare you, the exorcist replies. Remedying altar balance breaker. Die, mongrels! Thirst and devour! 13 fangs! A huge purple-colored noble plasman swallowed the whole army, leaving no one behind. Now that this is done, it's time to make my way to the underworld, Issei says. And that is the end of Chapter 3. Finally free. Chapter 4. Time skip / going to Ko. So once again, another time skip 2 years later. For 2 years, Issei has been traveling, training, and acquiring sacred gears, including Fallen Maiden's Embrace, which can heal all injuries at unbelievable speed once activated, and Tech Make, which can make anything tech-related with the exception of robots. He has been searching for the Annihilation Maker, but hasn't found a trace of its user. On top of that, he has to be on high alert now. The Supernaturals have connected the dots and eventually figuring out that there's someone that could plunder sacred gears. Many faction members, especially the Fallen Angels, has been searching for him in hopes of strengthening themselves. After traveling around the world for 2 years, trying to find the entrance to the underworld, all the clues led him back to the Ko, the territory of the harassed Gremory and Citri. Issei was walking around the town, seeing what has changed since he was gone, and to be honest, nothing much. The Hyoudou house in the neighborhood was replaced by an abandoned warehouse. Perfect place for a hideout. Tech Make, base destruction, Issei says. Issei claps his hand. Much better, Iris. System reboot, 20%, 69%, 80%, 100% reboot complete. Welcome back, Mr. Einzbern, Iris says. Iris, scan for high magical signature. Yes, sir. One moment, please. Scan completed. The highest magical signature came from Ko Academy, also base operations of the Harris of the Gremory and Citri families, Iris says. Alright. Hack into the school system mainframe and write me a fake transcript. I am enrolling as a transfer student, Issei says. Already one step ahead of you, sir, Iris says. Perfect. Thank you, Iris. Always happy to help, Mr. Hyoudou, Iris says. 2 weeks later, Issei puts on the school uniform and proceeded to head to Ko Academy. Once he gets there, he flares out his aura just enough for the devils to be able to sense him. Squeals. Oh my god, he's so attractive, the female student says. He's even hotter than Kiba, another female says. He just got here and is already getting all the girls. Kiba? Isn't that the boy I saved from the church? Wonder how he's holding up, Issei says. Now, at the ORC... Scene break. Rias is looking out the window, staring at Issei, pondering about something. That presence. It is familiar to that of a devil, yet it is different, Rias says. Found another candidate for the Parage, Rias? Akana says. Yes, I think I have, Rias says. At the student council room. So, this is the new transfer student, huh? Tsubaki says. Yes, he is. Wait, did you feel that? Sona says. Yes, an extremely strong magic signature, Tsubaki replies. I was going to recruit Saji as my last pawn, but now I am not so sure anymore, Sona says. Now at the classroom. So scene break. Let's see. To be. Ah, here it is. Issei says, today we have a new transfer student. Here's a knock at the door. Ah, speak of the devil. Please come in, the teacher says. Hello, everyone. My name is Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern. It is a pleasure to meet you all. Does a gentleman's bow. All the girls squeeze. He's mine. Marry me. Ladies, please calm down, Issei says. Now, after class. Tsubaki steps into the classroom. Mr. Einzbern, please come with me. The student council president wants to meet you. Tsubaki says, well, I guess I will come back later then, Kiba replies. And that is the end of Chapter 4. Chapter 5, Queen of Leviathan. Mr. Einzbern, please come with me. The student council president wants to see you, Tsubaki says again. Sure, lead the way then, Issei says. Now, at the student council office. Tsubaki knocks on the door. President Citree, Mr. Einzbern is here. Come in, Sona replies. Tsubaki opens the door. Please, Mr. Einzbern, take a seat, Sona says. So, why did you want to see me, Mrs. Citree? Issei says. Oh, it is not me who wants to see you. You can come in now, sister, Sona says. The door opens. Where have I seen you before? Issei says. Issei, you don't remember me? Seraphol starts crying. Wait, that nickname, Sarah-chan? Issei says. Why is my childhood crush here? In Issei's mind, he's saying that in his head. You remember me, Seraphol said. Seraphol hugs Issei like a koala. Sarah-chan, that's embarrassing, Issei replies. Let's get down to business. Let me introduce you. Seraphol Leviathan, one of the mouths of the underworld, Sona says. Just long silence from Issei. What? Issei says. Seraphol smiles with surprise. Issei sighs. Can you stop pretending? We know that you are a devil half-breed, Sona says. Issei, I promise to you, father, if anything happens to him, I am going to take care of you, Seraphol says. So that's it, huh? Issei says. Well, I guess that isn't bad. He whispers to himself. What was that? Seraphol replied. Issei blushes madly. Sarah-chan is not that close. Issei says, aw, you are no fun, pass. Anyway, I'm going to take you my parage as a queen piece, Seraphol says. Wait, what? Issei replies. Sis, we talked about this, Sona says. Rias blasts down the door. Wait, Rias says, he is going to be in my parage. My fucking door, Rias, Sona says. That's not important right now, Rias replies. Oh, what piece are you going to give him? You are going to waste a talent like him, a pawn, are you? Seraphol says. Well, Rias replies. Issei, you choose to be my queen or her pawn, Seraphol says. Or my bishop, Sona added in. Well, I guess I will be, Issei says. Rias, Sona, and Seraphol stares at him intensely. Sarah-chan's queen, Issei says, and why he blushes madly. Yes, Seraphol says, hugs Issei like a koala. What a shame. He could have made such a good pawn, Rias says. He could have made such a great bishop, Sona replies. Let's do the ritual right here now, Seraphol says. What ritual? Issei says. Of course intently. Not that ritual, ahem. Just lay down and let me do my thing, okay? Okay, Issei says. Seraphol opens a portal into the Rich of Mana. Now lay down, Seraphol says. Issei lays down. In the name of Seraphol Leviathan, I shall reincarnate you into a devil of the house of Leviathan. As soon as the queen piece enters Issei, a pillar of black and crimson mana bursts out into the air. Wait, that wasn't supposed to happen, Seraphol says. Issei walks out with his Sacred Gear Plunderer and boosted gear activated. Issei walks up to Seraphol. My king, Issei says. Seraphol just blushes. You can stand up now, Seraphol says. And that is the end of Chapter 5. Chapter 6, Accident. Issei turns off his white-haired form. Huh? Seraphol says. What? Issei replied. What happened to your white hair? Seraphol says. Oh, it's just my sacred gear, Issei replies. You have a lot of explanations to do, Issei, Seraphol says. Now, in the underworld. Serzek suddenly stood up from his seat. So, the Queen of Leviathan has risen, huh? And from the magical signature, he smiles. It seems that Seraphol has managed to recruit the Plunderer to our side, Serzek says. Serzek immediately contacted the other Maohs for a meeting. Now, back to Issei and Seraphol. Wait a minute, I just realized something, Seraphol said. What? Issei replied. I don't want to have a place to stay in the human world. I don't want to sleep on the streets. Seraphol starts crying. Issei tries to calm Seraphol down. Please don't cry, Sarah-chan. I have a house. Really? Sarah says. Issei's face completely red, overwhelming cuteness. Yes. You are the best, Issei, Seraphol says. Time skip to Issei and Seraphol arriving at the base of operations. Whoa. Is that a hologram TV? What is that? What is... Serafal starts questioning things. Issei spent 2 hours explaining each part of his base. Now, explain, Issei. Right, Issei replied. Issei explains to Serafal that he has the ability to plunder sacred gears. Wait. So you're telling me that you are able to steal sacred gears as long as you can touch the user, Serafal says? And then shows her all the sacred gears he has. That is so... Serafal says, she's going to hate me, isn't she? In Issei's mind. Cool, Serafal says. Huh? Issei replied. That is so cool, Issei. You are the best, Serafal says. Serafal then received a call from Sir Zex. Yes, Sertan? Serafal says, if you don't mind, could you bring your queen to the underworld? I'd like to talk with him, Sir Zex says. Okay, Sir Zex, but no stealing, Kay? He's mine. Yeah, Sir Zex says. Serafal hangs up. Alright, Issei, we need to... She trips and then falls over onto Issei. Issei? Serafal? Serafal stands up. Serafal runs away blushing. Serafal, wait! If you guys don't know what just happened, they accidentally kissed each other. Serafal comes back to Issei after 2 minutes. Well, you took my first kiss. You must take responsibility, Serafal says. Wait, what? Issei says. It is decided. You will be my knight in shining armor. Like this? He alters his balance breaker into a knight's form. Yes, perfect. Now pick me up. Alright, Issei says. Perfect, Serafal replies. And that is the end of Chapter 6. Accident. Chapter 7. Meeting with Maoh, imbecile child of the Phoenix. 2 hours after Serafal and Issei's kiss, Issei, get into your tuxedo. We need to go meet Sertan. Serafal says. Issei transforms. Hello. Time skip to the train to hell. Well, this is certainly something, Issei says. Well, of course, this is the territory of the current Maoh. The train finally lands. The servants of Gremory came to greet them. This way, Lady Serafal. Master Sir Zex is waiting, the servant says. Okay, come on, Issei, Serafal says, at the meeting room. The servant knocks on the door. Master, Lady Serafal and her queen is here, the servant says. Come in, Sir Zex replies. As Issei came into the room, he saw 2 people. Sertan, Beaton, Serafal says. Serafal, could you stop with the nicknames? Sir Zex says. Anyways, I am Ajuka Beelzebub, and he is the current Maoh Sir Zex Lucifer, Ajuka says. It is an honor to meet you both, does a gentleman's bow, Issei does. Ha! No need for the formalities. You are Serafal's queen piece, after all, Sir Zex says. Alright then. Tell me, Lord Lucifer, did you not just call us here just for a chit-chat, am I right? Issei says. Correct. We called you to discuss your sacred gear. Or should I say sacred gears? Sir Zex said. So you know, huh? Issei replies. Precisely. We want to know more about your plunderer and what you plan on doing with it, Ajuka says. Alright, if that's what you want. The sacred gear plunderer, as you can tell by my name, can detect and steal any sacred gears, but it is not omnipotent. It need to have physical contact with the user before plundering the process can start, Issei says. As of what I plan on doing with it, it's a secret for now, Issei continues. If you don't want to tell us, we won't force you, but... Could you help me with something personal, Sir Zex says. Well, of course. What is it, my lord? Issei replied. Well, you see, I got my sister into a pit that she could not get out of. She is currently engaged to the 3rd son of the Phoenix family, Riser Phoenix. And I regretted even thinking about engaging her to that imbecile, Sir Zex says. So what you're saying is you want me to assist her to break free from the clutches, Issei replies. Precisely. I believe they are going to have a raiding game in 5 days from now, and I want you to cooperate with her and beat Riser, Sir Zex says. So I gotta beat some sense into some arrogant prick skull? Sounds good to me, Issei says. Great, Sir Zex reply. Now, Atco. Scene break. Why won't you understand? Rias, our marriage is for the sake of the devil race, Riser says. I don't care. I don't want to marry you, Rias says. That's it. I will take you back to the underworld with me even if I have to burn everyone. Riser gets cut off. Suddenly, a purple magic circle appears. Stand down, you imbeciles, child of the Phoenix. And who are you supposed to be, Riser says. Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern, the queen piece of Serafal Leviathan, Issei says. Issei? Rias says. What? What is the Queen of Leviathan doing here? Riser replied. Lady Serafal received a message from her dear sister to help Rias with the mess Lady Gremory got herself into. So here I am, Issei lies. Issei grips his orangutan and starts rotating as if it's a drill. Now, why don't you go back to your house? Issei says. I will be back to claim my fiancé. Mark my words, Riser says. Riser teleports away with his barrage. Thank you. You saved me right here. Rias said, don't thank me. Thank your brother. He asked me to save you from this marriage, Issei said. So he is against it after all, Rias says. Issei deactivates his balance breaker. So, here's the plan. You will challenge him to a rating game, and I will blast him to oblivion in the game. Remember, any deaths occurs inside the rating game will be counted as accidents, Issei says. Wait, are you going to kill him? Rias said. Well, of course, it is the most effective way to end this, don't you think? Issei says. Before Rias can even talk back, Issei stood up and summons the teleportation circle. Until next time, Rias Gremory. And that was the end of Chapter 7. Chapter 8. Training/rating game. The next day at Issei's base of operations, Issei came to Serafal's room with some cake and tea. So, did Rias challenge Riser to the rating game? Issei says. Serafal took a bite of the cake. Yes, she did. Honestly, I'm not surprised. The poor girl was first to marry that piece of crap, Serafal said. Ha! Yes, he's such an imbecile that Sir Zex himself asked me to take care of him, Issei replied. They both laughed. Well, I need to go help Rias with her Parage train. They don't stand a chance against her Riser if they don't, Issei says. Let me go with you. I want to see Showtime, Serafal says. Alright, come on, grab onto me. Alright, Serafal says. Issei blushes really hard when she grabs on. Let's go, Issei says. He summoned the teleportation and they both vanished on the spot. Oh my god, here we go again, Sona says. Serafal bursts into the student council room. Showtime, Serafal says. Serafal hugs Sona. Hi, sis, Sona replies. Come on, we're going to dress up and play magical girls. No, Sona says, at the Occult Research Club. How are we supposed to win against Riser? Damn, my brother, he got me into this crap, Rias says. Well, I'm going to help you train, that's how, Issei said. Rias jolted. Issei? It's you, Kiba said. You know him? The rest of the Parage said. Well, yeah, he was the one who saved me from the likes of the Holy Sword Project, Kiba replied. Huh? Rias and Akeno said. Anyways, let's talk about the training. I will explain the Kiba situation later, Issei says. So, how am I supposed to do that? Rias says. Huh? Issei replied. How am I supposed to train my Parage? Rias said. Don't tell me you just sit around all day and drink tea, Issei says. Rias sweats intensely. Oh god, you are a horrible king. A true Parage king needs to know the balance between fun and work, not just Netflix and chill all day. Serafal trains my ass off every Monday to Friday, Issei says. Huh, alright. I'm wrong, you are right. Just stop pointing fingers and start training us, Rias says. Says the one who doesn't even train, Issei replies. Rias just growls. Anyways, meet me on the top of the hill over there. Ciao. Issei then launched himself into the air and flies off to the hill. Rias turns to her Parage. Well, let's go get changed and be on our way, Rias says. Now, 1 hour later. Issei, we are... Rias says. Rias sees Issei wearing his boxers only and having a sunbath. Oh, so you're finally here, Issei says. What are you doing? Rias replies. Well, since you took 1 fucking hour to climb a hill, I decided to make myself comfortable, Issei says. Issei snaps his fingers and his clothes just appear on him. Well, let's get started, Issei says. Time skip brought to you by Issei beating the shit out of Rias and her Parage. 1 week later. Alright. After all the hell we went through, I think we can win this, Rias said. Yeah, his signature dropkick hurts like hell, Keeper replied. Oh, come on. At least it paid off, Issei says. Grafia appears through a teleportation circle. Is everyone ready? Grafia says. Rias and her Parage and Issei. Yes. Grafia then teleported them to the battlefield, which is replicated version of Ko. Home field advantage, huh? Rias says. Rias immediately notices that the 3 Maohs are here. Sir Zex. Looks like everyone is here. Now let's brief before we start the rating game. The rating game will be broadcasted via magic screen, Grafia said. The second you are critically injured, you deemed as retired and will therefore be out of the game. The first team that loses their king will automatically lose the rating game, and since Miss Gremory does not have a full set of Parage, the Queen of Leviathan, Mr. Einzbern, will assist them. Grafia says. Ugh. Riser gets annoyed. 3, 2, Grafia continues. Issei gets into his running stance. 1, rating game start. Grafia says. Boosted gear. Dre. Boost! What? The boosted gear? And why is it black? Sir Zex says. Trace on. Kansho Byakuga, Issei says. Take this. Boost! Explosion! Kyosho and Byakuya starts to glow red. Everyone look out! Ubaluna says. Draconic Slicer, Issei replies. Ah! All of Riser's pawn. 4 of Riser pawn are retired, Grafia says. So who's next? Issei said. How dare you ambush us? Do you have no shame? Mio says. There's no honor in the battlefield, girl, Issei says. Anyone, everyone, if we take him down, the opposing team should bound to lose, Isabella says. You are... Where did he go? Zulun said. Kiba, Akino, it's your turn. Kiba starts to fight with Kalamura and Cetres, while Akino fights with Upaluna. The rest of the pawns and the rooks team up against Issei and Konako. Take this and this, Isabella says. Ha, Zulun says. Issei kept dodging them with his hands behind his back. Issei yawns. This is getting boring. He jumps. Draconic Blaster, Issei says. Ah! Zulun and Isabella agree. 2 rooks of Riser is retired, Graphia says. Konako finished off the rest of the pawn with some injuries. Ah! The last pawn says. Suck it, Konako replies. You are all useless, Riser yells. Riser charges at Rias. If I eliminate Rias, I win! You little... Issei deactivates the boosted gear. A dark purple mass of energy gathers in his hand. Come forth and bring destruction. Ring-a-ting. A huge explosion just went off, and the Ring was summoned. Just how powerful are you, Issei? Rias says. Issei then vanishes and appears behind Riser, and thrusts the lance through his chest. Not so fast, Riser, Issei says. Issei then threw him in a good distance away. You can't beat me, I'm immortal, Riser says. Don't get cocky. Just because you have a little over-average regeneration, if you can regenerate, I will just destroy you until there's not a cell left. Alter, balance breaker, Issei says. At the spectator seats, that armor, Ajuka says, it's similar to that of King Arthur's, in the spear too. Wasn't the ring supposed to be the bring infinite hopes and dreams? So why does it bring destruction into the hands of Issei? Serzek says. Back to the rating game. You, Riser says. Issei is now covered with dark purple and crimson aura. Ha! What's wrong, Riser? Aren't you immortal? Issei says. Riser was enraged. I cannot lose! I am immortal! Riser says. Arrogant bastard, Issei replies. Issei starts to channel mana into the ring. It starts rotating as if it's a drill. Thrust and devour. 13 fangs. Wait, you can't kill me. I am the third son of Phoenix. If I die, the devil's population will be endangered. It's something you low-class devils will never understand, Riser says. Issei doesn't even care about whatever he's saying. At the spectators say, please stop this, Ravel says. Ravel was about to jump into the rating game, but Seraphal stopped her. Stand down, daughter of Phoenix. Your brother got himself into the pits. Now he needs to get himself out. Seraphal smiles from everyone else's perspective. It's a smile full of warmth, but from Ravel's perspective, it's a smile from the original Lucifer himself. Ronko Minad, Issei says. Ah, Riser says. And that is the end of chapter 8 or 9. I don't know. Chapter 9. Aftermath/school field trip/familiar forest. Brother, no! Ravel says. The rating game has entered. Winner, Team Gremory, Graphia says. Ravel immediately rushed to the battlefield in hopes of finding Riser alive. Brother? Brother? Ravel said. Ravel cries. Why? Why did you have to die? Ravel says. Ha! Serves him right. Alright, Miss Lucifage. Send me back, please, Issei says. At the Phoenix household, Lord and Lady Phoenix saw the entire rating game, including Riser's dead body. How could he? Lord Phoenix said. Breaks down. Riser. I should have raised him better. Lady Phoenix says. No, it's not your fault, Lord Phoenix says. He gave Issei a menacing stare through the screen. It's his fault! Time skip 3 days later. Issei's phone rang. It was Sona. Yes, Sona? Issei replied. Hey, Issei. The school is going to visit an ancient ruin in the Tinderage. I was wondering if you want to come. Sona says, Nah, I don't think I would. Sir, I have picked up a colossal magical energy signature in Cornwall, Tignachol. I suggest you go there immediately. Never mind, Sona. I think I will go, Issei says. Great. The traveling fee is already taken care of by Lady Seraphal, Sona replied. The next day. Alright, class. Did you get your luggage ready? The teacher says. Yes, ma'am, the students say. Well then, let's head to the jet, the teacher replies. 12 hours later. Man, the plane ride was the worst. So boring, Issei said. That's why I told you to bring a book, Issei. Sona says, Nah, I'm not a book kind of guy, Issei replied. Sona just says. At the ruins. Sir, the magical signature is getting closer, Iris says. Techmake radar. Beep, beep. It's getting even closer. Beep, beep, beep. The radar says, looks like it's right here, huh? Issei says. So this is the piece of paper it gave off a massive amount of mana, huh? Issei says. Get him and retrieve the artifact, the fallen angel says. Ah, shit, Issei replied. Issei grabbed the fallen angel by the face and blasted him point blank. Trace on. Die, you pieces of trash. Ah, the fallen angels say. Retreat, retreat. Oh, no, you don't. Boosted gear. Explosion. Issei deactivates Trace on. Sorry, Vegeta. Issei flew up into the air. Ha! Die. Gallic gun. No, the fallen angel said. Ha, mongrels. 3 days later, at Issei's bedroom, it seems that 80% of the text are gibberish to conceal important information, Iris says. And what is it? Issei replies. It is a chant to summon erotic spirits. Through it has a strict conditions. Once the spirit is summoned, you would have almost invincible servant by your side at all times, Iris said. So the conditions are? Issei replied. There are two. First, either have a sacred gear, the Holy Grail, or be placed in rich of mana. Second, you need a crystallist related to the hilt of the spirit you want to summon. The Spear of Arthur is a great example. The chant is highlighted in red, Iris says. Thank you, Iris. Always good to help, sir. At this time, Seraphol comes into Issei's room. Issei, I missed you, Seraphol said. Sarah, I missed you too. Issei just blushes. Seraphol said. She saw the ancient text on this tablet. What is that? You are going to find out soon, but for now, let's have some cake. Issei says, yay, Seraphol replied. Half an hour later, takes a bite of the cake. By the way, Saratron, do you know what place that is rich of mana? Oh yes, I actually do. Do many of them actually, but one of them has the most mana is the familiar forest, Seraphol says. She finished up the rest of the slice of her cake. I was about to take you there anyway, so let's go. Alright, Issei said. He grabbed the ancient text and hopped into the teleportation circle when they got to the forest. They saw Rias and her Parage about to head inside the forest. Lady Seraphol, are you here to get your queen his familiar as well? Rias says. Of course, Seraphol said. Well, let's go together then, Rias says. When they head into the forest, they met the familiar master. He explained how familiar contracts worked, such as and such rhymed. Well, let's go, Rias says. Seraphol and Issei went a separate way. Issei-chan, why aren't you going with them? Seraphol said. Unlike these fools, I actually know which area has the most mana, Issei says. They arrived at the center of the forest. I guess here would do. What are you going to do, Issei? Seraphol says. Issei drew a magic circle on the ground. You will know soon. Issei starts to chant. Let silver and steel be the essence. Let the stone and the Archduke of contracts be the foundation. Let black be the color I pay tribute to. Let there rise a wall against the wind that shall fall. Let the 4 cardinal gates close. Let the 3-forked round from the crown reaching unto the kingdom rotate. Let it be declared now, your flesh shall serve me, and my fate shall be with your sword. Submit to the beckoning of the Holy Grail. Answer, if you would submit to this will and this truth. An oath shall be sworn here. I shall attain all virtues of all heaven. I shall dominate over the evils of all hell. From the 7th heaven, attended by the 3 great words of power, come forth from your ring of restraint, protector of holy balance. Stabs her into the ground. I hereby summon you, Saber of Black. Seraphol, watch out, Issei says. A humanoid beast tried to attack the servant, only to be blasted into oblivion. I, servant of Black, ask of you, art thou my master? And that is the end of Chapter 9, Familiar Forest. Chapter 10. Yes, I am your master, Issei says. Issei, what did you do? And look at what you did to the familiar forest, Seraphol says. I summoned a erotic spirit, and from the catalyst I used, turns to Saber, I am amusing you are King Arthur, right? I am assuming you are King Arthur, right? Issei says, yes, master, but my true name is Atora Pentadragon, Saber says. Issei, Seraphol just sit there in silence. I thought King Arthur was male, both said. Do you believe everything those disgusting nobles tell you? They are just too scared to let the public know it's a queen that was ruling Camelot, the altar says. Seraphol turns to Issei. I guess she has a point. Issei nods. Then Rias and her Parage rushes out of the forest. Hey, what happened? Why is 2/3 of the familiar forest destroyed? Rias said. Seraphol, get out of here! Issei says. Got it. Bye, everyone, Seraphol says. Issei, Ataria, and Seraphol teleported away. Rias and her Parage just deadpanned. At the base, Issei, if Sertan finds out about this, you are a figurative and literally dead. Issei kneels to the ground. Could you just keep it a secret? Please, please, please? With puppy eyes. Seraph's mind. I need to resist. Fine, but just this once, okay? Thank you, Issei says. Atora just sits there with a stupid-ass expression. Don't act like you have nothing to do with this, Seraphal/Issei says. At dinner time, Atora already finished 4 plates of steak. Seconds, please. How can you eat this much? Issei said. Hunger is my enemy too. You have to crush it completely before you head to the battlefield, Atora says. Issei and Seraphal have a deadpan face on. If we go on like this, even the Secret Treasury won't be enough for her living expenses. Issei says, true. Should we open a business of our own or something? Seraphal replied. Issei suddenly remembered something. He pulled out a piece of paper from his pocket. First step. Get 2 more sacred gears. Check. Get 1 or more subordinates. Check. Alright, I have something to discuss with you, Sarah-chan. What is it, Issei? I want to open up a business to sell sacred gears, Issei said. What? Seraphal replied. Yes. Not only does my sacred gear take away, it can also give sacred gears to others. So we can get rich off selling them, Issei says. For something like that, you need the permission of all 3 Maohs, Seraphal said. And that is why I need to keep this under wraps. If that bastard Shizek knows about this, he is 100% going to take advantage of me. We don't want to do that now, do we? Issei says. Seraphal smiles. You are full of surprises, aren't you, Issei? Fine. You just earned the support of the 2nd Maoh, Seraphal Leviathan. Atolia, will you support me? Of course, you are my master after all. Plus, this sounds fun. Thank you, Saber. Damn, this smile could become a fetish, Issei says. Seraphal is obviously jealous. Wait, Sarah-chan, come on, Saber. We need to go build my secret base. But I'm still not full, Saber says. I will buy you 10 burgers after I build one base. Oh, come on. And Saber just winks. Now you are speaking my language. At an isolated island, you'd think it's a good place for a base, Saber. This would do. Make it a castle, would you? Like the one you had in Camelot? Issei said. That would be nice. Alright, here it goes. Techmake impenetrable forest. Technically a castle. It's just like my castle, Saber says. Sorry you had to see me like this, Master. Just bring back old memories. Yeah, I get that feeling, Issei says. In the castle. Here is the meeting room. Your bedroom, my bedroom, entertainment room, and so much more. I am genuinely lost for words. This is amazing, Saber said. Saber? Issei starts to get blushed. She realized what she has done. Sorry, Master, Saber says. Ahem. Anyways, it's time to change into my business outfit that I have prepared. Would you mind waiting outside for a bit? Sure, Saber says. After Saber stepped outside, Issei took instead of a red tuxedo, a red hat, and a mask. Issei steps outside. From now on, I will be known as All for One. And that is the end of Chapter 10. Chapter 11. No members in Coquevilles visit. Months have passed, and the rumors of business that sells sacred gears, the Gears of Fate, is very widespread in the supernatural world. The cost of sacred gears as follows. Low-class sacred gears are 20 million, middle-class sacred gears are 190 million, high-class sacred gears are 4 billion, and Longinus class sacred gears not selling. Saber, how many customers do we have today? Issei says. 3 customers, Master. The hair of the Ashtaroth family at 11:30 a.m. and the hair of the Biel family at 1 p.m. and the General Fallen Angels Coqueville at 6 p.m. What does the high and mighty General of the Fallen Angels have to do with little old me? Issei says. I do not know, Master, but I suggest you hurry up and dress up. You have half an hour until the first customer arrive at the castle gates. Saber says. Oh crap, thanks Saber. You are welcome, Master. Iris, get my breakfast out of the fridge, please. Roger, Iris says half an hour later. Sir, the heir of the Ashtaroth family, Diodora Ashtaroth, has arrived at the castle gates. My bad. Theodora Ashtaroth has arrived at the castle gates. Let him in, Issei says. Issei is in his business outfit, by the way. Welcome, Mr. Ashtaroth. What can I do for you today? Saber Alter poured some tea. Looked at Saber Alter with greed. Ah, Mr. All for One. I have been waiting to meet you. Actually, I want a Longinus class sacred gear for myself, Dodoria says. Theodora says. My deepest apologies, Mr. Astaroth, but we don't have any Longinus class, and even if we do, we won't sell it, Issei says. You think I don't know? The user of the Annihilation Maker was suddenly assassinated and his sacred gear gone? You must have it in your possession, Theodora said. Ha! You are a sharp one. Yes, I indeed have the Annihilation Maker in my possession, but no matter how much you offer me, I will not sell it, Issei says. Bastard, Theodora says. He grabs Saber's neck. Give me the Annihilation Maker or she dies. At this moment, he knew he fucked up. Saber stabbed Theodora in his head, killing him. Don't touch me, filthy scum. The Astaroth family butler tried to run away, but got killed by Issei. Should have known the members of the Astaroth family are bitches, Issei said. Saber, I'm going out for a stroll. Guard the castle before I'm gone, Issei says. Yes, master, Saber replied. Issei activated the boosted gear balance breaker and flew off at Mach 4 speed. At the Sahara Desert, Issei's just humming. Issei saw a group of teenagers roaming around the desert with no food and little water. I told you, we shouldn't have come here. Oh, quit nagging, Byoko. Everyone please calm down. All of you shut up. What's important right now is to find some food and water supply and then get the hell out of here. Yes, Folly, all the others said. A long time no see, White One. It's funny to see your host in such conditions. He laughs. You have no idea. Wait a minute. Drake? Albion says. Looks like the odds are against you this time. Ha! Drake said. Shut it. If my host is at full power, he could beat yours no problem, Albion said. You are the current Red Dragon Emperor? Volley replies. Yes. Yes, I am. Issei says. You're kind of hot, Kuroka replies. Not now, Kuroka, all of them say. I'm assuming you guys are stuck in the desert, Issei says. Sadly, yes, Folly replies. From the magical signature, they seem fairly strong. I could use some strong employees right now, Issei in his mind. They turn their attention towards Issei. How about we make a deal, Issei says. What kind of deal, Folly replies. How about you join this organization of mine in exchange? You all get a place to call home, food, and get paid, Issei says. Sorry, but I'm not an I'm in, Byoko and Kuroka said. Guys, what the Volley said. Volley, what's freedom if we are just going to starve to death in this hell of a desert, Byoko says. Volley, I think it's time for you to grow up. All you want to do is find strong people to fight. It's going to kill you someday, Albion says. Shut up, Folly replied. Actually, I would love to be your sparring partner if you wish, Issei says. The Red Dragon Emperor is my sparring partner. Now I'm interested, Volley says. So, what is the name of your organization? Issei says. I'm sure you have all heard of it. It's called the Gears of Fate, Issei says. Volley's team all at the same time. What? Now I am so in, Byoko says. Me too, Crook replied. Me three, Arthur says. Why didn't you say it sooner? I would have agreed immediately, Volley said. My bad, Issei replied. Wait a minute. You said your organization. Does that mean you are all for one, LeFay says. Yes, I am, Issei replied. Alright, everyone, introduce yourself. Volley says, my name is Arthur Pentadragon, and yes, I am the descendant of the original King Arthur. I am LeFay Pentadragon, Arthur's duster, LeFay said. I am Kuroka. I am a Nekushu, and also one of the most wanted stray devils. And I am Byoko, the descendant of Son Goku, and before you ask, it's not from the legend. It's from the legend, not the anime. Alright, everyone, Issei says, opens a transportation circle. Come on, we have one customer in an hour. Everyone except Volley. Yeah, boss. Haha. Volley says. At the castle gates. Whoa, Volley team said. Quite a nice place you got here, Red Dragon Emperor. Volley says. Please, call me Issei. Issei replied. As soon as he gets home, he asks a servant made from Annihilation Maker to cook some food for the starving team. They ate it in less than 10 minutes. That was so satisfying, Kuroka said. Yeah, best meal I had in a while, Byoko replied. I am actually happy I joined, Issei, Volley said. Thank you for the food, Arthur replied. All right, Saber, could you be a dear and show them to their rooms, please? Of course, master. When they are upstairs, the bed is so soft, Kuroka says. Yeah, Byoko replied. So many holy swords, Arthur said. So many magic staffs, LeFay said. My personal training area, Volley replied. Best boss ever, the Volley team said. Half an hour later, sir, the heir of the BL family, Syra Org, is here. Open the gate. Volley, Arthur, Kuroka, be on guard just in case they try anything, Issei says. At this moment, a muscular man along with his barrage walked into the room. Greetings, all for one. I am Biel Sor'org. It is an honor to meet you, Sor'org says. Ah, Mr. Biel. What can I do for you today? It's rude for me to ask, but don't you already have a Longinus-class sacred gear in your possession? Issei says. Sor'org chuckled. I am not here to purchase a sacred gear. I am here to request a partnership. Oh, Issei says. You see, the head of the Biel family wants to make an alliance with you, Sor'org says. Please continue, Issei says. I will get straight to the point. As long as you sell us our sacred gears at half the price from now on, you will own 20% of the Biel family shares. Issei said. Issei started to laugh. All the others in the room, including Volley and Saber, started as well. Sor'org is starting to get pissed. And what's so funny? Just my weekly earnings is 80% higher than the Biel family's monthly income. Why would I want 20% of your shares? Issei said. He continues to laugh. Leviathan Krakdo, the one gravity sacred gear, unhatches his sword and charges at Issei. How dare you insult the Biel family? Issei told Volley and the others to stand down, blocked his attack with ease, then activated the sacred gear plunderer. Oh, sacred gear gravity jail. Not bad. I will be taking that. Ah, Libin says. Issei then kicked Libin back to Sor'org. Take this piece of trash and leave. I will no longer sell anything to Biel clan. Sor'org clenched his fist. Could you at least return gravity to Biel? Boosted gear, balance breaker, revenger, vanishing dragon, balance breaker, Dragon Albion say. Issei and balance breaker, I suggest you leave immediately before you accidentally die by our hands, Issei says. Sor'org widens his eyes. You realize that you might offend the entire Biel clan, right? Issei, Volley, and Biel all at the same time. Leave. Sor'org replies. He opened a teleportation circle and left. Issei took his mask off. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, everyone. It's no problem. I was in for a fight anyways, Volley said. Me too, Kuroko said. Me three, Byoko and Arthur replied at the same time. Issei was touched. Guys, a few hours later. Alright, guys, go dress up formally. We have a special guest coming over. Alright, yes, boss, everyone says. Half an hour later, Issei was in the business costume. Volley, Arthur, and Byoko with tuxedos on, and Kuroko with a black and red dress on, and Lefay was in a royal blue dress. Sir, Mr. Kokaville has arrived. Perfect timing. Servants, please prepare dinner. Iris, let him in. A few minutes later, Kokaville enters the room. Ah, Mr. Kokaville, I have been expecting you. Please, this way. Let's talk over dinner, Issei says. Now, at the dinner table, Kokaville took a bite of his steak. So all for one, was it? Let me get straight to the point. I would like to make an alliance with you. Slurp some of his pasta with his mask on, is what Issei's doing right now. Huh? What kind of alliance? You see, I'm about to start another great war between the three major factions, and I would need a group capable warriors to support me. You and your group are perfect ones, Kokaville says. Volley seemed interested for just a moment. Then he thought that his beloved training room might be destroyed during the war, so he lost all interest. Kuroko just wants to find her sister and have peace, and Arthur wants peace. Lefay also hates fighting. Byoko just wants to enjoy the luxury in the castle and train with Volley and Issei. Issei looked at everyone, and they all seemed to be against it. Sorry, but I don't think this is good for my business. What? Don't you see? When the Great War starts, everyone is going to come to you for sacred gears. Imagine how much money you can make, Kokaville says. That is also the reason I refused. You see, right now I have a great economic equilibrium going on, and the Great War is just going to break the balance, Issei says. Kokaville clenched his fist. You're going to regret it. So he got up and stormed out of the castle. And that is the end of Chapter 11. Chapter 12. Not So Happy Reunion / The Army of Fallen Angels. I'm sorry if you can hear that stupid fucker playing music in the background, but I have no choice but to record. Immediately after Kokaville left the castle, Issei contacted Seraphal. Who is this? Oh, Issei-san! Seraphal says, Sarah-chan, it's an emergency. Kokaville is trying to start another great war, and his first target is likely Ko. Issei says, what? If I don't take action soon, Sotana is going to get hurt, Seraphal says. No, rest assured, I have the White Dragon Emperor on my side. Just contact Sir Zex in case something goes south, Issei says. Okay, just be safe out there, alright, Issei? Remember, you are my queen piece. I absolutely cannot lose you, Seraphal says. Yes, ma'am, Issei replies. Issei hangs up. Saber, you are coming with me. Volley, be there when my fight with Kokaville is over to pick him up. I don't want to make enemies with the fallen faction, Saber says. Roger that, Volley says. Oh, Kuroko, you said you want to find your sister, right? Issei says. Yes, why? Kuroko replied. She is with Rias Gremory right now, but you need to give me time to tell her what really happened, Issei says. What do you mean? Kuroka said. Rias Gremory wanted to get your sister into her paras, so she lied to you about your sister about you. She now believes that you are drunk because of your power. She hates you, Kuroka. Kuroka grits her teeth, but don't worry, I will set the story straight with her. Look forward to the reunion. Winks. Saber, come on, we need to go now. Yes, master. Issei and Geppo blasted off. Saber used a similar technique and did the same thing. Ugh, this is not fast enough. Balance breaker! Issei and Saber flies towards the Ko Academy at Mach 6 speed. Now, at Ko. So, why are the church members meeting with the devils? Like me, Rias said. Huh, we just want to make sure you devils won't interfere with our mission, Zenobia replies. Oh, come on, Zenobia, don't be so rude. Besides, we only came for the Excalibur fragments, Irina says. And for revenge, in Irina's mind. Irina, Zenobia says. Oh, I am assuming that they are stolen by someone, Rias says. Yeah. The governor of the fallen angels, Kokaville, stole them. Well, all of them besides the 2 that we're holding, Zenobia says. Kiba bursts through the door. Perfect! It's a chance for me to destroy the Excalibur! Kiba, where have you been? Rias said. At the same moment, Issei bursted through the window. Rias Gremory, we need to have a meeting, huh? Irina held a grim expression on her face. She unleashes Excalibur Mimic. Issei! I have waited years for this moment. Meet me outside. I don't have time for this crap, Issei says, now outside. Kiba is clashing with Zenobia while Issei is absolutely dominating Irina. Issei! Why did you kill my parents? Irina says. Issei was effortlessly dodging her blade. Huh, they were going to kill me anyways, so it's an eye for an eye. It's because you are a devil, Irina says. Issei traced Kansho and Byakuga. Irina struggles to keep up with Issei's speed. Stop dodging. Oh, come on. Aren't you almighty a holy sword user? Why can't you just cut down a devil like me? Ha! Issei says. Issei teleported behind her and smashed her head into a tree, knocking her out. I'm done here, Rias. I suppose you already know that Kokaville is going to wage a second Great War, correct? What? Rias says. Don't worry, I'm here to help, and plus, I already told Miss Leviathan to contact your brother. I can deal with this myself, Rias says. Miss Gremory, it is time to put down your fucking pride and face the reality. You cannot deal with Kokaville alone, Issei says. Where did Kiba go? Rias replies. They turned to where Kiba was, and he is nowhere to be seen. Ugh, Rias says. Issei sensed a huge magical signature. Oh, crap. Issei, what's wrong? I can sense the army of Stray Fallen coming towards Ko. About 1,500. Looks like we're in trouble, Rias says. No shit, Sherlock, Issei replied. Saber, prepare for combat. Yes, master. And that's the end of Chapter 12. Chapter 13. 2 vs 1,500. The Showdown/Confession. When Issei landed before the army of Stray Fallen Angels, he saw a man with white hair leading them. Ah, so the famous Leviathan Queen is finally here, Fried says. And who might you be? Issei replied. My name is Fried, and also the one who will cut your goddamn head off, Fried said. Fried blitzes towards Issei with a fused Excalibur in hand. Overconfident bastard, Issei says. Issei used short-range teleport to get behind him and kicks Fried straight to the ground. Crawl on the floor where you belong, worm, Issei says. As soon as Fried was kicked down, the army of fallen angels charged him. Saber, I take 750 and you take 750. I will take 751, Saber says. That's the spirit, now split up, Issei says. Say your prayer, worms, Saber says. She's cutting through the fallen angels like a hot knife to butter. Issei charged up a huge black and red color lightning spear. Thunder greeting. Boom! Oh, why did I sign up for this, Fallen Angel 1 says. Come forth and bring destruction. Holy sword. Ragnamin, now die, you pieces of shit, Issei says. Issei mercilessly pierces through all the fallen angels he sees. Why don't you use me? You can take care of them faster, right? Drake says. I can't. I revealed my possession of Cyborg Biel. He might be able to put the pieces together and would not be good for me, Sarah. Issei says. Huh, fine. Just use me when you face off against Kokaville, Drake said. Got it, Issei replied. Ha! Saber said. The fallen angels. Right now, there are only 490 strays left. I need to preserve my stamina. Kokaville probably wanted to wear me down with the army of Fallens. Sacred gear, mana zone, Issei says. The narrator, Sacred Gear Mana Zone can use the surrounding mana to recharge your own mana pool and also conjure magic attacks wherever you want in your field of vision. Mana recovery and damage depends on the user, just for anyone who didn't know. Be gone with a thunderclap! Kiddin! Issei says. Boom! Saber has taken care of her 750 fallen angels. Issei has 3 more. Son, don't care about me, just run, the fallen angel says. I won't leave you, father. Fallen angel 2 replies. Fallen Angel 3 grabs Fallen Angel 2 and started to fly away. Fallen Angel 1 faces Issei and goes straight into his fighting stance. Issei charges up a huge energy beam with one hand. Thank you for such wonderful comedy, Issei says. Father, Fallen Angel 2 says. The other Fallen Angels were also caught in the explosion. Alright, Saber, I'm done here. How about you? I am also done, Master says. Issei says. Well done, especially the last 3. That almost got me emotional, Kokaville said. Psst, the last thing I want to be complimented by a scum like you. Balance breaker. Saber blushed at the sight of his balance breaker. What is this feeling? Why is my heart beating so fast right now? Saber said. I can't use the boosted gear. Others will find out about my identity, especially Cyra-Org. I don't want him to have any leverage over me, Issei's mind says to himself. Prepare to die, Kokaville. Big words coming from a lowly worm, Kokaville said. I think the worm here. He suddenly appears behind him and kicks him into the building. It's you, Issei says. Ugh, you are going to pay for that, Kokaville says. He summoned 19 light spears and launched them all at Issei at once. Issei and Saber dodged them all. Saber used Pronta Burst, launching herself towards Kokaville. Die! Kokaville blocked her strike just in time with a light sword. Ugh, how are you so... Over here, jackass, Issei says. He ran over, although Kokaville's hips. He ran through Kokaville's hips. Ah! Then pulled it out. Ugh! I felt that one, Saber said. Yeah, especially the spikes. That's gonna hurt, especially when I pull it out. That's it, Kokaville says. Kokaville unleashes his full power. The shockwave blew the duo away. Finally going serious, huh? Issei says. Kokaville then summoned 40 spears of light. Seriously, is that all you can do? Light spears? This is getting old, Issei says. Shut up, Kokaville replied. He launched all of them. I am the bone of my sword. Royal Asius, Issei said. Issei's Royal Asius is standing strong against Kokaville's light spears. Just die already! I still need to take care of that Gremory brat, Kokaville says. Ha! So that's what you're here for. If you kill her, the war can surely start, huh? Issei says. He suddenly pushes causing the light spheres to be reflected right back at Kokaville. No! No! Kokaville says. Boom! Kokaville is severely injured from his light spears. I had enough of this. I am destroying this entire city. He charges up a giant light attack, powerful enough to destroy half of Japan. Well, this is not good, Issei says. If you dodge this, well, the town will perish, Kokaville says. Saber, let's finish this. Issei replies, yes, master. Thrust and devour, Issei starts. Hammer of the vile king, Saber continues. 13 fangs, Issei says. Overturn the rising sun and swallow the light. Excalibur Morgan, Issei and Saber say at the same time. The 2 colossal energy beams clash. Issei and Saber's beam is getting pushed back. Ha! Die and take this entire city with you! I can't lose yet. Thinks of moments he spent with Seraphal and Saber. I haven't proposed yet, so I can't die now! He summons the boosted gear. Boost times 1,000. Issei looks at Saber as she nods and puts her hand on the boosted gear. Longinus Smasher! Their combined attacks completely incinerated Kokaville. Damn you! Damn you all! After Kokaville was gone, Issei collapses onto the ground. He was out cold. Master, wake up, master, Saber says. Seraphal arrives on the scene. Issei! Well, the original plan is not happening then, Folly said. Back at the castle, Issei was sleeping on Seraphal and Saber's lap. Saber is blushing the entire time. So, you like Issei-chan? Seraphal says. Yes, Saber replies. Then why don't we share him? Seraphal says. I know Issei too well. He would rather die alone than breaking any of our hearts. Saber looks down at Issei, blushing. Oh, Issei wakes up. Huh? Issei, Saber and Seraphal say. Sarachan and Saber? Saber and Seraphal both hugged Issei. I'm so glad you're okay, Saber said. You had me so worried, you idiot, Seraphal said. Sorry, Issei replied. Well, this makes it up. She bent down and kissed Issei on the lips. Alright, Saber, your turn. Excuse me, master? She also kissed Issei. Issei is blushing so hard, even Rias's hair would get jealous. Issei-chan, will you accept both of us, Serafal said. Huh? Issei replied. Will you take both of us as your wives? Serafal replied. Yes, Issei said. All three of them shed tears of joy. That night, they slept in the same bed with Issei squeezed between them two huge pair of melons. And that is the end of Chapter 13. Chapter 14, Stray Devil / New Member. After Kokaville's attack, Issei knew that the power he has now is not even close enough in order to keep those important around him safe. He must get stronger, a lot stronger, so he decided to plunder 2 times as much sacred gear as he is right now. Is everybody ready for the mission? Issei says. Yes, boss, everyone says. Alright, now get on. Tech make. Venter-class Star Destroyer. Half an hour later, on the Star Destroyer. Alright, people. Our target this time is a Longinus Sacred Gear in Hyoudou, and the high-class Sacred Gear, Knight of the Owner. Keep in mind, this is one of the most powerful Stray Devil fortresses out there, so be careful. Old rules, kill everyone except the Sacred Gear users. The red light in the room turns green. Now jump! All of them jumped out of the Star Destroyer and made a badass landing on their way. Issei lands on the front page, Arthur and Lefay lands right next to Byuko and lands on the left, and Volley lands on the back. Let's get this party started, shall we? Clone Army, get ready, Issei says. Each of everyone's soldiers have experience of U.S. Special Ops, with 30 years of experience. It took Issei 90 hours to make all of them with Annihilation Maker. The soldiers are composed of 3 units. Infantry, Heavy Armored, Artillery, FYI, they are all from Star Wars. Artillery, Issei says. All 200 units of artillery starts charging laser blast at 100%. Fire! The poor fortress stood no chance against the heavy bombing of artillery unions. Ah, that's so cute. Vanishing Dragon, Balance Breaker, Albion says. Byuko crashes right into the fortress. Leroy Jenkins! Kuroka knocks out 20 strays with Senjutsu. Arthur and Lefay started killing the strays as well. Infantry, take the left and right. Heavy armored units charge straight in. Artillery, stay back, chill, and provide support. Yes, sir, all soldiers said. I will be having some fun as well. Soon, Knight of the Owner will be mine, in his mind. The reason Issei wants Knight of the Owner is that his melee skill is way behind his magic power, which frustrates him. He doesn't have that much talent for weapons in the first place, and the Knight of the Owner could fix that. Enemy attack! No shit, Sherlock, the Stray Devil 2 said. Before he could finish, his sentences was taken out by the infantry units. Surprise, motherfuckers! In a mere 10 minutes, one of the strongest stray fortresses that even high-class devils can't deal with was gone. The heavy armored clones brought out a man in armor and blonde-haired girl. So, I assuming they are the Sacred Gear users, Issei said. Yes, sir. The one in the armor holds the Knight or Owner, and the blonde holds the Enkedu, Clone says. Then I guess it will start with the Knight of Owner. Issei grabbed the man's face and extracted the Sacred Gear. Finally, it's mine! He looks at the blonde. Now it's your turn. He extracted Enkedu from the girl. Now kill them. Both of them. Please wait. Before they could even plead for mercy, the clones ended their lives. Now that is done, let's go home and have a feast, Issei says. The gang clone soldiers all cheered. The night of the day after, Issei was in his business outfit jumping around Ko just for the fun of it, but he suddenly saw a tall blonde with a familiar spear fighting 3 fallen angels at the same time. Issei landed on the building next to them. Just accept your fate and hand over the true Longinus, Rainier said. You can't beat all 3 of us, Donisik said. Huh. Like I would do that, you shitheads. I just hate fallen angels. Issei killed all 3 of them with a wave of his hand. That outfit. Are you a nun? Issei says. The girl looks at Issei. Who are you and what do you want? Answer my question first, Issei says. I was a nun until I found out God was dead, so I decided to quit. It's not like church was my cup of tea anyways. My parents forced me into it as a child. What's your name? Issei replied. Azia. Azia Argento. My alias is All for One, Issei says. Oh, you lead the crime group that steals sacred gears. She seemed interested, Azia. I wouldn't call it a crime group. It is what the church told you, Issei said. Well, yeah, your group did blow up 20 of their churches around the world, Azia said. That's because I hate churches. Do you see me stealing any sacred gears from other factions? Issei replied. Good point, Azia said. I will get to the point then. Will you join my group? Issei said. What do I get out of it? Azia replied. Food, water, money, power, a place to stay, luxurious lifestyle, and most importantly, a family, Issei says. Azia ponders for a moment. I'm in! Issei replied. Great! And that is the end of Chapter 14. Chapter 15, The Invitation / Noisy Night. At the castle, Ozzy is still trying to adapt to the lavish lifestyle Issei provides her with. It was just so perfect. 24-hour room service, high-tech bedroom, best makeups, pretty dresses, hologram phones, and basically everything you could ever ask for. It was a regular weekend. The members of the Gears of Fate are taking a break from battle and are just enjoying themselves. Kuroka, Azia, and Lefei are in the pool, Vali is training with Issei, and Byoko Arthur is brandishing his sword. But suddenly, the alarm sounded. Intruder alert! She displayed a hologram of Sir Zex floating outside the castle with his Parage and an army of devils. Issei was long prepared for this situation. Deploy the self-defense system, Issei says. 4 large turret rises from the ground, pointing it right at Sir Zex. Holy energy charge, ready to launch. Wait! I just want to talk, all for one, Sir Zex says. A giant hologram of Issei in his mask suit appeared. Oh, if you were here to talk, why is there an army here, Sir Zex? It's not like I wanted to. The council fired me to bring the army here, Sir Zex said. I am just going to refer to Issei in his business suit as all for one from now on. If you want to say something, say it outside. I can hear you loud and clear, all for one says. Spike Sir Zex Knight says, how dare... Sir Zex cuts him off. It's fine, Soju. Ahem. A day from now there is going to be a peace conference between the 3 major factions. And what does this have to do with me? Issei says. After some discussion with the council, we have agreed that it is important for you to be invited to the conference, Sir Zex replied. And I thought you saw me as an enemy, Sir Zex. Issei said, oh no, the devils are actually getting stronger thanks to this business of yours. Now, even the other races can get sacred gears, and because of that, you have unconsciously allied yourself with all of the 3 major factions. That is why it is a top priority for you to be present, Sir Zex says. I see, alright, I will be there, Issei replies. And one more thing. After some investigations, we have discovered that Kuroka Koju is actually innocent. Her master is the one that is truly guilty, and she is hereby pardoned for her crimes, Sir Zex says. He opened a teleportation circle and left. There was long silence in the group. Issei turned to his members. Did I hear that right? You sure did, Vali said. Kuroka shed some tears and hugged Issei. Finally, I can go see Shirone, as she was crying. Issei replied. What are you thinking about, Issei? Byoko said. Inviting someone else to the peace conference needs the approval of all 3 faction leaders, Issei replied. So? Byoko said. We most likely targeted churches for sacred gears. Why would Michael agree for me to appear in the peace conference? Issei replied. Arthur lifts his glasses a bit. I think I know the reason. Ooh, please do tell, Issei replies. Arthur points at Issei. They are after one of your sacred gears, Enkidu. They are probably going to use the peace conference to make you hand over Enkidu to its rightful owner. Yeah, that sounds about right. These greedy bastards will use God's name to get anything they fucking want, Azia replied. Well, I guess I know what to do, Issei says. Issei whispered the plan to the rest of the gang so quietly that even the readers can't hear it. That night, Issei was about to go to bed. Suddenly, Saber and Seraphal came inside Issei's room with almost nothing on. Saber? Saratron? Can we talk about this? They both ripped off because said, no! And, well, you know what happens next is pretty self-explanatory. And that is the end of Chapter 15. Chapter 16. Peace Conference. The next morning, Issei was yawning. Damn, why does my dick hurt so... Oh, he saw that he was sleeping between Seraphal and Saber without any clothes on. I got them pregnant, didn't I? He face-palmed. Seraphal and Saber both yawned and got up. Good morning, honey. Good morning, master. So, can we talk about last night? Didn't you enjoy it? Seraphal said. It was good and all, but I thought that was supposed to come after the wedding. Oh, wait. You forgot you were a devil for a second, didn't you? Seraphal said. Yep. Damn the Bible. Ouch, Issei said. Saber and Sarah giggles. Anyways, it's time to dress up. We have a peace conference today, Sarah replied. Yeah. Kind of worried, though, Issei says. Why? Well, the angels probably learned I have Enkidu, and they are most likely going to force me to give it back. I will cut them down if that happens, master, Saber says. I will try my best to help out as well, Seraphal replies. Issei smiles. Thank you. At the living room, Byuko laughed when Issei and the 2 girls came downstairs. Did you enjoy last night? Kuroka almost pounced on me because of you, Vali said. It's not my fault that I got in heat, Kuroka said. Everyone laughed. Alright, everyone, I need to go to school. You all just pump through the teleportation circle for the peace conference, but until then, feel free to do what you want. Got it? Issei says. Everyone except Seraphal and Saber. Alrighty. Outside the castle, Volley asked Issei to fly up with him to the stratosphere to have a private discussion. You are not actually wanting peace, right? Volley says. Of course not. Here's how it's going to go down. Flashback. All for one and 3 hooded people are sitting in an abandoned castle courtesy of Modus. So, the 3 major factions have decided to have a peace conference. Exactly, Issei says. How dare they? So they want a war we fought, the lives sacrificed are all meaningless, Beelzebub says. Capture the Leviathan was the calmest out of all of them. Where will it take place? It's a city named Ko. The peace conference will take place in a school named Ko Academy, Issei says. How did you gain this level of intel? Why should we trust you? All for one lets out an evil smirk under his mask. I got invited, of course. As you know, I cannot just directly ruin the conference, and I know you want to sabotage it too, so I am here to ask you all to ruin it for me. I see, wise decision, but, Catrilla says, but what? Even though we received the snake from the infinite dragon god Orpheus, we still may lack power to do so. He chuckled. I came prepared. A dark green katana appeared on the table. High class and depending on the user. Longinus class holy sword sacred gear. Ami Marikura, which is a sword. The old faction members were shocked. With this, you should be able to sabotage the peace conference easily, right? Issei says. Shalba was the first to react. Of course, we owe you a huge favor for this. All for one. It's no problem. You just owe me 3 favors, that's all. And that's when the flashback ended. So this way, you all get to fight strong opponents, and I can sabotage or at least ruin the peace conference. Volley burst out laughing. Ha! Brilliant! Simply brilliant, Volley says. I gotta admit, you are the greatest strategist and combatant out of all my hosts, Drake says. I have to agree. He's on par with Volley, Albion said. Thanks, Drake. Isn't there another host better than me, though? Issei says, are there any other host that has hundreds of sacred gears at their disposal? Drake says. Issei and Volley just sit there silent. Exactly, Drake replied. Ahem. Anyways, Volley, want to come to my school with me today? Issei says. Why the sudden invitation? Volley replied. Might as well experience what it feels like to be a student, am I right? Alright, I'm down. Where did you learn that phase from? Issei says. Byuko. Issei just face palms. Now at school. OMG, it's Issei, he's so hot. Who's the guy beside him? They are both hot. Now at the RC, who did Issei bring with him to school today? I don't know, but he's a devil, at least high class. In the classroom, everyone, this is my childhood friend, Volley. He will be shadowing today, Issei says. Volley smiles. It's nice to meet you all. I am under your care today. All the girls get really excited. Sit with me. No, sit with me. Girl 8 kicked the boy off his seat. Sit with me. Volley ended up sitting with Issei for the rest of the day. After school, at the student council room the peace conference was about to start. So Zex is the first one to arrive, followed by Azazel, then Michael. So, is everyone here? Michael says. Nope, still missing one. He senses a strong magical signature. Never mind, here he comes. A black transportation emitting black and red lightning opened up. All for one and the rest of his gang stepped out of it. Michael saw Azia and the true Longinus user. Is that Azia Argento, the divine Valkyrie of France? Azia, my dear, if I may ask, what are you doing in All for One's group? Michael said. I quit church ever since I found out God was dead. Since there is no God to worship, why remain in the church faction any longer? Azia said. I see. I am very sorry to hear that, Michael replies. Volley, is this the reason you were missing all this time? Azazel says. Sorry, Azazel. It is more interesting on this side. Volley replied. All for One then noticed Irina standing next to Michael. He scanned her without anyone noticing. It turns out she became. Could we get into the meeting now? Azazel said. Yes, I think we should, Sir Zex replied. Alright, I assume all of us are here in the meeting desire peace. Is that correct? Michael says. Yes, I and Seraphal here desires peace, Sir Zex replied. I want peace as well, Azazel said. I desire peace. Now, what about you, Mr. All for One? Michael says. He pondered for a moment. I want peace, All for One replied. Great. Now that everyone is on the same page, let's discuss what everyone will bring to the table for the peace treaty. I will share my technology with the factions, Azazel says. Yeah, sorry, Azazel. I've been sabotaging your experiments with artificial sacred gears for a while now, Issei said in his mind. I will share the Parage system with the factions, Zex says. I will share the basic designs for holy swords with the factions, Michael replied. Everyone turns to All for One. What will you bring to the factions, Issei? To be honest, Issei starts. Before that, I heard you recently acquired a Longinus-clad sacred gear in Kidu, is that correct? Issei's narrowed his eyes. What of it? You see, Enkidu once belonged to God. Since he is dead now, it means that heaven is its rightful owner. So would you return it to its owner? Pfft. Issei snarks. All for One and the rest of the Gears of Fate started to laugh. Ha! If you think I will just hand over a Longinus that easily, I just have one thing to say to you. Dream on! Irina suddenly jumped at Issei in an attempt to cut him down. Restrain her, Enkidu! Issei says. Hundreds of golden chains shot out of the black portals, restraining Irina. Right now, she is no more than a normal human being. He makes a sword out of pure darkness, which makes her really easy to kill. Wait, stop, Michael says. All for One put away Enkidu. He stretches out his hands. You know what I think? What I am already offering you, which is to give other races access to sacred gears, is already good enough. Any objections? Issei finishes. I personally have no objections, Azazel says. I have no objections as well, Zerzex replies. Michael has no choice but to stand down. Suddenly, the entire dimension turned red. That is the end of chapter 16, or 15, I think. I don't know, remember which one. Chapter 17, The Fight/New Member. Suddenly, the time of the whole dimension stopped. Some people were affected, but powerful individuals like AFO, the Mouths, Azazel, and Michael were unscathed. Issei senses multiple magical signatures, looks out of the window. Looks like someone came uninvited. A huge teleportation circle opened up midair. Hundreds of Chaos Brigade members came out of it. They had uniform. The Chaos Brigade? Zerzex says. The soldiers were started to blast at the barrier around the school. Issei. Volley, Azia, Buko, show them what their true power means. Roger, they all respond. Vanishing Dragon, Balance Breaker, Albion says. True Longinus. Extend, Ryujingu, Big says. The trio started to obliterate the Chaos Brigade troops. Arthur, you will be guarding me, Issei says. Yes, boss, Arthur replies. Strange. Volley hardly listened to my orders when he was with me. How did you do it, Azazel says. Secret, Issei replied. He lives in a luxury and has his own training room. Of course he would listen to me, in Issei's head. At this time, Catchla teleported directly into the conference room. Descendant of Leviathan, what are you doing here, Zerzex says. Kathria charges up an explosion spell. I am here to bring back destruction and Kate. Before she could finish her line, she was kicked out of the window by Arthur. Ugh, you will pay for that, human, Kathria says. Issei whispered to Arthur, it's time for me to go. Issei will take my place. Arthur nodded and notified the rest of the group with silence communication via communication magic. Issei disappeared in a magic circle. 1 minute later, Issei is in his tuxedo appeared in the conference room. Sorry for my delayed entrance. Seraphol put it on an act. Issei, you're finally here! Issei looks at Katria. The situation doesn't seem to fit for a chat right now, especially with the Chaos Brigade here. He flew up towards Katria. You have some nerve showing up here. Why don't you shut your filthy mouth? Katria said. She summoned multiple magic circles and shot barrage of demonic power at Issei. Ha! Weak. He swiped his hands and canceled out the attack with ease. What? Katria said. Issei enhances his physical strength with magic reinforcement and kicked Katria to the ground. Be gone. Damn you, Katria says. Bad choice of words, bitch, Issei says. Katria, you... Oh, look, another lowlife designed to be killed. Ciricius took out the Americans, no Monko didn't. Issei dodged Ciricius' sword strikes with ease. You didn't practice sword skills at all, did you? He caught the sword and lifted it off his hands. Let me show you how it's done. Issei cuts him in half. Zerzex turned to Seraphol. Looks like you've been hiding a trump card, Seraphol. Of course. You think I wouldn't? Seraphol replied. Volley got done with the soldiers and flew to Zerzex. All for One asked me to tell you what his products to be legalized, taxed, and advertised. I would have agreed personally, but I would need the majority of the council to be on my side as well, Zerzex said. We will await your answer, Bioka replied. Issei, Seraphol, and the rest of the gang teleported away in separate teleportation circles to avoid suspicions. The second he arrived at the castle, 3 clone soldiers rushed to him. Sir, there is something you need to see. They arrived at the medical center and saw Zenobia missing both her legs, her right arm, and her left eye. Her left arm is wasted as well. How did you find her? Issei says. We found her floating near the castle when we were on patrol, sir, soldier said. You gentlemen are all getting a promotion, Issei says. The soldiers high-five each other. How's her condition? We managed to heal her mirror wounds, but the healing magic could not regenerate her limbs for some reason, the medic said. Issei took burn marks of what's left on her arm. Holy weapons. He turned to the scientists beside the medic. Do we still have those? Yes, but I thought you said we were going to save it for a project, sir. That project is now. Bring me the vault immediately, Issei replied. As you wish, sir, the scientist said. 10 heavily armed clones and the scientists took the elevator down 10 stories underground. When the elevator door opened, it was a black-colored vault. Issei put his hand on a fingerprint scanner and typed in the passcode. The vault opened. It revealed slightly decayed bodies of Dreg and Albion. Issei then ripped off 30 pieces of scales from each of them. What are you going to do with our scales, partner? Dreg said. You will see, Issei replied. Issei returned to the ground level into the lab and spent the rest of the day there. 13 hours later, finally done. A servant came into the room. Yes, master. Bring me some metals and angels used to forge Excalibur, Issei said. Right away, master. The servant came with the metal 1 minute later. Perfect. Issei then spent another 9 hours forging something else. 1 day later, Issei entered their medical chamber. She's obviously depressed. Are you the one who saved me? Zenovia said. Technically, yes. My men did. Thank you, Zenovia replied. Is there something on your mind, child? Don't worry, you can tell me, Issei says. The god I always believed in turns out to be dead. All this time, and she starts crying. I don't know what to do. Should I say Issei could empathize with Zenovia when his parents died? He had no idea what to do either, until the Shido family took him in. All for One took off his hat and mask, revealing a handsome white-haired man. He smiled and hugged Zenovia. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Zenovia couldn't help anymore and cried in Issei's arm. How would I take you in? She looks at what's left of her. You would take in a waste like me, Zenovia replied. Don't worry, Issei says. He injected some anesthetics into Zenovia. When you wake up, you will be reborn. When Zenovia fell asleep, the medical droid started the surgery. They first removed her already wasted left arm, then 2 mechanical arms brought out 2 prosthetic arms, one colored red and green, one colored white and blue. 2 other mechanical arms brought out 2 nanotech prosthetic legs made of holy metal. They attached the prosthetics to her, one by one, and she wouldn't feel any pain. To finish it off, they replaced her missing left eye with a camera that looks almost like her other eye. The produce is over, and the anesthetics wore off. Zenovia wakes up. What happened? Oh my god! She looks at her new prosthetic arms and legs. Suddenly, a screen. She suddenly felt like she could move her arms and legs again. She starts to walk around the room. I could walk! I could walk again! And that is the end of Chapter 17. Chapter 18, Training with Zenovia / Negotiations with the Gremory Household. As Zenovia is testing out her new cybernetics, Issei came into the room. So, how are your limbs doing? It's perfect. It's like I have my original arms and legs back. Thank you, Mr. Issei. Just call me Issei, Zenovia. Thank you, Issei. I did not know how to repay you, Zenovia says. No need to repay me. Just join my organization. That's good enough for me. She nods. Now let me explain the abilities of your cybernetics. Your left arm, made with the scales of Dreg, have the power to boost just like boosted gear. Your left arm, made with scales of Albion, have the power to divide. These cybernetics have scanners built in them, so they know how much boost and divide your body can take, and will stop when you reach your limit. It also has a release mode. You can shoot out the energy you collected from boosting and dividing. It's like having both boosted and dividing gear, but without balance breaker. Zenovia looked in her arms in awe. Your nanotech legs, made from holy metal used to make Excalibur, has the ability to shape into anything you want, whether it's blades, guns, barrels, jet boosters, anything you can think of. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Issei, Zenovia replies. You are welcome. Now let's get those babies out, shall we? She nods. Let's test those babies out. Holy shit, fucked up there. At the training ground, despite only getting her new limbs in a few hours ago, Zenovia is already fully adapted into using them. The green gem in her left arm shines. Boost, the mechanical voice says. She turns to the bottom of her feet, and jet boosters flew towards Issei. Right when she's a few centimeters away, she turns her right leg into a vibrating holy sword. Issei barely dodged it. Ooh, that was a close one. Ugh. She points her right arm at him. Divide. A ball of red energy materialized in her left hand. Explosion! Uh-oh. Issei puts up a magic barrier to block the incoming attack. I must say, for someone who got those prosthetics, you are pretty damn good. How about trying this on for size? Zenovia said. She pulled out the rondel and transferred all of the energy she built up by boosting and dividing into it. She turned to her feet and her jet boosters again. Take this! Boom! Well, well, you are full of surprises, aren't you, Zenobia? Issei came out of the smoke cloud with a huge cut on his arm, but it regenerated almost immediately because of the fallen maiden's embrace. That's enough training for today. You need to rest up, Issei says. He picked up Zenobia bridal style and went to her room. Issei laid on her bed, turned off the lights, and left. Sweet dreams, Zenobia. Sir, there is a yacht coming our way, Iris says. Activate the camera and zoom in on it. Right away, sir. When Iris zoomed in on the yacht, they saw a red symbol on it. Gremory, Iris? Activate the artillery and the speaker. The speaker is on. Ahem. What are you doing here, Gremory? I didn't see you on the meeting list. A man with long red hair and a beard stepped out. Greetings. I am Zictus Gremory, and I wish to discuss something with you all for one. Iris scanned the entire yacht. Sir, there's only Mr. Gremory, Rias Gremory, her Parage, and a few servants with no magical signature in the yacht. Issei thought about it for a moment. Alright, please come in, Mr. Gremory. We will discuss this over tea. Rias, my dear, you stay here. I will be right back. In the conference room, all for one, in his business suit, Issei in his business suit, sat down on the throne, and a servant poured them some tea and swiftly got out of the room. So, what did you want to discuss, Mr. Gremory? I did not come here as the head of the Gremory household. I came as a customer, Zictus said. Oh, what kind of sacred gear are you looking for, then? Issei replied. Well, you see, my precious daughter's birthday is coming up, and I thought I'd surprise her with something. All for one chuckles a bit. Sacred gear for a birthday present. Well, this is new. Alright, I have a perfect sacred gear for her, but it will cost you a bit. Ha! Problems that could have been solved with money is not a problem, Mr. All for One. Ha! Alright, he replied. He summoned a red spear giving off some kind of crimson aura. High-class sacred gear. Spear of Death. Gay bulk. I know the original price for the high-class sacred gears is 4 billion, but seeing that this could evolve into a long Jason depending on the user, yeah, so about 5 billion should suffice. Ictelius pondered for a bit before snapping his fingers. A small mountain of gold that is about as tall as the room appeared. As I said, problems that could be solved by money is not a problem. Iris, scan it. Scanning gold. Purity 100%. It is indeed worth 5 billion, sir. All for One put the gay blong in a long rectangular box and handed it over to Ictelius. It was a pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Gremory. They shook hands and Ictelius left. That is the end of Chapter 18. Chapter 19. The Heist. Issei in his office, finding information on certain sacred gears on his hologram computer. Aha, here it is. Iris, give me some info on the Forbidden Valor View. Roger, Forbidden Valor View. Ability, time freeze. Limit, can only stop time in the user's field of vision. Gasper Validi, curtain holder. And who is that? Issei pulls up. Iris pulls out a picture of Gasper with a silhouetted camera. Gasper Validi, a half-breed vampire currently Bishop of Rias Gremory. Iris then pulls up videos of all the times Gasper accidentally uses sacred gear. What a waste of high-class sacred gear. If I could somehow obtain this, Issei says. He remembered something. Iris, do you still have a DNA of the U.S. veteran? Affirmative. Perfect. Make 3 clones. I drew the clones were made. Issei replaced both of their body parts with nanobot cybernetics. They are not nearly as strong as Zenobia, but still stronger than a middle-class devil. Iris, tell Zenobia to meet at the living room at 8 p.m. I got a job for her. Roger, Iris said. 3 hours later, Zenobia is currently in her own training room working out, trying to increase the maximum number of boosting divides she could take. Miss Corta, the young master wants to meet him in the living room immediately. Okay, I'm going now, Zenobia said. She took a quick shower and then walked to the living room. When she entered, Issei was sitting on the couch. Ah, Zenobia, how is the new life going for you? Pretty well, actually. I need time to adjust living in Luxuria after all, Zenobia said. Ha! I can relate. Anyways, let's move on to the reason why I called you here, Issei said. He pulls up to the image of Gasper. This cross-dressing boy, I want you to bring him back here. He has a sacred gear that he is not worthy of having, Issei said. I think he's one of the Gremory bitches Parage members. Are we really gonna mess with them? And plus, the place is probably heavily guarded. Ha! Don't worry about that. I have my own ways of covering things up. And about the heavily guarded part, he clapped his hands twice. 3 cyborg soldiers walked in the room. You and these 3 soldiers will form an armored squadron to infiltrate the building together. I will debrief the mission on the ship. Alright, Zenobia said. And also, there will be 3 of your subordinates from now on. Treat them well. Okay, Zenobia said. You 3, obey her each and every command. Got it? Yes, sir, the soldiers replied. Zenobia and Issei walked in the front door. Saber, I'm going out for a bit. Be back in a few hours. Sarah/Saber, alright. On the cruiser, class destroyer. Zenobia is now a flexible metal suit, revealing only her arm. She also wore a mask that covers her nose and mouth, and an eye patch that covers her cybernetic eyes. The soldiers are also in metal suits. Issei pulled up a hologram screen. The target's location is Koh Academy, the territory of Gremory household. Grant the target jump back on the ship. Try not to kill anyone. Understood? Yes, sir. At this moment, the red light in the ship turned green, and the back door opened. Zenobia and the 3 soldiers walked up the entrance and jumped. The 3 soldiers activated boosters on their legs right before they hit the ground to safely land. Zenobia turned her feet into jet boosters right before she hits the ground. She did 2 backflips and landed. Alpha, Beta, Omega, you take care of the others. I will grab the boy. The 3 nodded and proceeds to run to the academy with superhuman speed. I hope they at least put up a fight, Zenobia said. She jumped in midair and flew off. In the ORC, Rias and Paraj were having dinner. Before you ask, yes, they actually live in the ORC room. Suddenly, Akeno stood up from her seat. Oh, looks like we have an uninvited guest. Who could it be? Can't be fallen angels, could it? Kiba said. Akeno, Kiba, you go check it out. Gasper will stay here with me, Rias says. They nodded and ran out of the room. The 4 intruders have landed on the school field, with Zenobia taking front. They were greeted by Akeno and Kiba. May I know why have you come to this academy this late? I advise you to go back to where you came from or else, Kiba says. Zenobia sneered. Ha! Or else what? Or else we are going to use force, Kiba said. Impudent little brat, Zenobia replied. Before Kiba even noticed, he was kicked into the wall across the field by Zenobia. Kiba! How dare you! Before she could intervene with Zenobia, she blocked off by 3 soldiers. Get out of my way! She launched several thunder spells towards only them to be blocked by a few energy shields. What the? The soldiers turned their cybernetic arms into light cannons and aimed them at Akeno. Shit! She spread her wings to dodge them. Since when could technology rival magic? She got hit by a light ray and fell into the ground. One of the soldiers interjected her with a tranquilizer and knocked her out. Now with Zenobia and Kiba. Kiba is struggling to keep up with Zenobia's speed and power. On top of that, he felt his strength leaving him every time her right arm glows. Mechanical voice. Explosion. A red color beam was launched towards Kiba. He barely dodged it, but the energy beam still grazed his right leg. Zenobia launched herself towards him, turned the right leg into a vibrating blade. Rest in pieces. She did a roundhouse blade kick. The blade cut Kiba's shoulder, his arms, and decapitated. Just who are you people? Kiba said. Zenobia says to turn the leg back to normal. Sorry, but I cannot tell you that. She kicked Kiba's face, knocking him out. After Rias' strongest pieces were taken care of, they proceeded to go to the RC room. When they opened the door, Rias was in the corner with Gasper, aiming an orb of power destruction at them. Who are you? What did you do to Akeno and Kiba? Zenobia chuckles. You don't need to know that. Hand over the boy and we will spare your life. In your dreams, Rias says. Very well, Zenobia replied. Zenobia took off her eye patch. The world around her is now in slow motion. Yes, the cybernetic eye that Issei gave her ability to alter Zenobia's perception of time. She turned her perception of time to the slowest she could go. Grabbed Gasper and returned to her original spot, put the eye patch back on. Huh? Rias/Gasper? We will be taking our leave now, Zenobia said. She blasted both of Rias' legs and jumped out the window. The 3 soldiers followed her. As soon as Zenobia arrived in the front gate, the Star Destroyer beamed her and the 3 soldiers went up. I assume everything went out well? Issei said. Zenobia lifted Gasper up. Yep, we secured the package. Great, Issei says. Who are you? Gasper replied. No one you should be worried about, Issei said. He grabbed Gasper's face and extracted the sacred gear. Issei's eyes glowed red. Yes, it's finally mine! He noticed everyone else is still here. Right. He replaced Gasper's original sacred gear with another similar sacred gear named Chronostasis. It's an ability to slowing down time instead of stopping it. After his sacred gear is replaced, he beamed Gasper down again. What just happened? That's the end of Chapter 19. Chapter 20, High Class Devil Promotion Exam. 2 days after the heist, Issei was in his office trying to cover up evidence of it. Then Seraphol rushed into the room. Issei! Great news! Issei's sweat dropped. What is it, Sarah-chan? Look, Seraphol said. She summoned a magic that's supposed to mimic functions of TV. On the screen, it showed one of the Masters ex-Lucifer. Hello, everyone in the underworld. As you know, the annual high-class promotion exam is in one day. The candidates for this year's exam are Issei von Einzbern, aka Master of the Legendary Berserker, Kushina, aka Queen of Biel, Yura, and the strongest of them all, Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern, aka King of Storms. Keep in mind that only one of you will be able to become a high-class devil, so I suggest that you will be prepared. That will be all. The recording ended. Issei remained seated, pondering. Another Einzbern, huh? Are you worried, Issei? Serafall said. No, it's just I didn't think I had any relatives left. That's all. Otherwise, I think I can become a high-class devil with no problems at all. Great, Serafall said. At the BL mansion, this is outrageous. Why are they letting 2 lower-class devils taking the high-class promotion exam? The BL said. At the Phoenix mansion, Lord Phoenix slammed his hand on the table. That brat is taking the promotion exam, huh? An evil smirk on his face. According to the exam rules, every single deaths occurred in the exams are considered accidents. I'm sure I will make you die, you damn brat. One day later, hello everyone from the underworld. It is finally time for the annual promotion tournament, the commentator says. The crowd cheers. Issei's lips twitches. Wasn't this supposed to be an exam? A blonde-haired girl sitting next to him in the waiting room said, they thought it'd be fun to make it into a tournament instead of a boring exam. Besides, they have a load of money on this. Of course, Issei says. Oh, my, you must be the famous King of Storms, who defeated the leader of the class Fallen Angel, Kokaville. I'm Kushina Abaddon, the Queen of Ciar Bill. The blonde says. That's nice. Nice to meet you, Miss Abaddon. I'm Issei, a Parage member of Serafall Leviathan, Issei says. Kushina was shocked. You were a member of the Leviathan Parage? Yes, ma'am. I heard rumors about Lady Leviathan's Parage, but their identities were never to be revealed to the public. The rumors say the Queen's peace is immensely powerful. Mind telling me who that person is? Sorry. Classified information, Issei's sweat drops. The wait is over. The first round begins. The cheered round, some even whistled. The first round. Familiar battles. Contestants who have familiar specialized in battles, please come forth. Issei and Ilina walk out of the training room. The rest of you follow in person. Black suit over there. You have a written exam. With that being said, let me explain the rules. Familiars and their masters will have a duel. The first master or familiar that is disqualified loses. The one who wins will proceed to the next round. May the 2 contestants step up to the magic circle. You will be teleported to the battlefield, Zerzek says. Issei and Ilya steps onto the magic circles. As soon as they did, they teleported to Destroyed City. I see. It's the same system they use for the raiding games, Issei replied. 3, 2, 1, begin! Issei smirks. Slaughter them, Saber! A huge beam of purple and red energy appeared beside Issei. What the? That lady is contestant Issei's familiar? Ajuka, do you feel that? Zerzek says. Yes, the magical signature, there's no doubt about it. That right there is King Arthur. Come out, Berserker, Ilya says. If my information I got is correct, all things contestants say will be broadcasted to the audience. He laughs. Let's put on a show, Saber. Saber chuckles. Yes, master. Issei yawns. Finish that douchebag off quickly, Saber. I got important things to take care of, you know, like decide that wine will I have for dinner tonight. White wine, red wine, or dear, I say rose. Or perhaps I should give Saji a call. His birthday is coming up, and he's a prick. Oh, where was I? Right, mass slaughtering the audience. The audience was laughing their asses off. Ha! Who knew Issei is also a comedian? Ilya grits her teeth. You dare ignore me? Kill them, Berserker! Ilya tried multiple times to ambush Issei, but she was pinned down, literally crucified to the wall, watching Saber absolutely slaughtering Berserker. The crowd went silent for a moment before breaking into loud cheers. Before Issei walked out of the arena, he insults Ilya one more time. Trans should stay like trash. Why don't you just go back to wherever you came from, dig a hole, and bury yourself that you could still be of some use. He and Saber walk off. Were you too cruel back there? She is only a child, after all. Saber, as you king, you must understand. I am just putting on a show. Issei's entertaining the audience. Whatever you say, master. Now, back at the waiting room. Serafall and Zerzek come into the room. Serafall comes rushing towards Issei. Issei, I'm so proud of you! She leaps and hugs Issei, stuffing his face in her 2 huge melons. Issei stuck his head in her melons. Oh, thank you, Sarah-chan. Now all you have to do is defeat, Now, Serafall, don't spoil it, Zerzek says. You are no fun, Zerzek. Now, in the VIP room, Lord Phoenix is visibly angry. How? How in the Satan's name is that brat familiar that strong? He should be dead! The familiar battle was Lord Phoenix's idea. He purposely set up Issei in Ilya's battle so that Issei will die, but he knew little about Issei's overpowered familiar. 1 hour later... Alright, people, contestant Kushina Abaddon was eliminated. Contestant Suba Yura moves on to the final round. Some people in the crowd were booing because they really wanted to see Kushina. You thought the final round would be a duel, but no. Because of the contestant Issei's overwhelming strength, the content of the final round has changed. The crowd is visibly confused. Instead, they will be going against an army of undead. The contestants who last the longest or defeat the entire army wins. Familiars are allowed. The crowd cheered because they all know who will see a good show. The first one is going to be a Suzuki. She didn't do bad at all. She lasted a full 10 minutes before being disqualified. Now it's Issei's turn. Finally, we have Issei. Let's see how long he would last. Issei chuckled and stepped onto the teleportation circle. The battlefield takes place in a deserted city. In the distance, an army of undead is slowly approaching. Ha! Ha! Issei said. Issei laughed like a crazy man. Why is the contestant Issei laughing? Has he gone insane? The commentator says. Ha! If I'm going against an army, I'll just have to make my own. A purple lightning aura surrounds him. In the past, I never did use the power of my evil piece. There was never a need, but now, the aura around him intensified. Dance, soldiers of thunder. Thunder claps. 1,000 lightning, 10,000 lightning. Heed my call. No one lives internally in this world. Crave for moments, instants, and pleasures. Abandon everything in the blink of an eye. Those who are late, don't call for repentance. Tonight is once in a millennium festival. End. Dissolve life in everything. The liberation of soul is not easy. Completely take off weight of fine feathers. This feeling of soaring the world. Kill. Share with everyone this easiness, this throb, this freedom, this happiness. Oh, death, how delightful it is. End. Kill. Tonight is one of the millennium banquet of slaughter. Cruel crusaders. As Issei finished off his chant, an army of beasts and knights made an entire purple lightning emerged. What's this? Contestant Issei has made an army of his own. Saber, you know what to do. Saber nods. She summoned Avalon Altar, making an indestructible barrier around them. Around 30 minutes has passed now. The cruel crusaders are officially wiping out an army of undead. Another 10 minutes pass. The army of undead is wiped out. The tournament is over. Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern is officially a high-class devil. That is the end of chapter 19 or 20. I'm not sure. Chapter 21. Prologue members / youth gathering. Right after Issei won high-class promotion tournament, Seraphal jumped out of her seat right onto Issei's shoulders. Issei, I'm so proud of you. Sarah-chan, we are still in public, Issei replied. I don't care. Then Rias walked to the stage and approached Saber. I must say, your strength is remarkable. Why, thank you, Saber says. I was wondering if your mastery is really worthy of having you. Issei teleported right behind her. You have some nerve trying to steal my future queen away from me, Harris of the Gremory. It is a competition, Rias says. No, it's not. She is going to be my future queen piece. Period. How dare you? Sirzex interrupted them. Now, don't fight. Issei here is your set of evil pieces. Thank you, Lord Lucifer, Issei replied. He pulls out the queen piece immediately. Saber, will you be my queen? The crowd gasped. Saber blushed. Yes. Rias just sits there. Alright then, in the name of Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern, I reincarnated you, Saber Pentadragon, as my queen. Wait, did he say Pentadragon? Is Saber Pentadragon the only female king of Camelot? Random Devil said. I should have talked to Issei and handing in her to my sister. Sirzex says, a beam of red and purple energy bursted out of Saber, making a huge explosion. She emerged from the smoke and kneeled. I am now in your care, master. Issei nodded. You may stand up now. He turns to Seraphal. Come on, we are done. Let's go home. After Issei got home, he pushed into the training room by Volley, who was itching for a fight. Ugh, here we go again. Welt's Dragon, Balance Breaker. Vanishing Dragon, Balance Breaker. Issei and Volley clash. They punched each other straight in the face. Issei propelled himself backwards and launched several dragon blasters. I'm not done yet. Monozone, said Issei. Using Sacred Gear Monozone, Issei made numerous powerful blasts of mana around Volley. Take this. Hell Zone Grenade. Wow, stealing Piccolo's moves. Wow. Oh, think you can think this can get me? Dividing Barrier, Volley said. Volley made a technique, Dividing Barrier. It could divide anything that comes into contact with. It has nothing as long as the user can handle the energy. Hacks. Call hacks! I call hacks, Issei says. Less complaining, more fighting. Issei smirks. As you wish. Maximum pain. Ugh! Volley was being crushed by the repulsion barrier at the wall. What is this? Sacred Gear Repulsion Field. I'm fucked, aren't I? Volley said. Right down and under. Transfer! Transfer the energy he gained from the repulsion field. Maximum pain. Ah, Volley said. The repulsion barrier sent Volley crashing into the wall. The smoke cleared. Issei helped Volley up. Looks like you lost again, Volley. I'll beat you one of these days, Issei. Keep training, I'm sure you will, Issei said. When Volley and Issei finished cleaning up themselves, Issei called everyone into the living room. Ahem, as you probably know already, as of today I am a high-class devil. That means I got my own set of evil pieces. Tell me, which one of you are willing to become part of my Prologue? Kuroka, Byoko, Arthur, Lefay, Volley, Ozzy, and Zenobia raised their hands. Volley, I thought you didn't like serving others. I said I refuse to serve people that are weaker than me, Volley said. Very well then, you are all here and pick your pieces. Lefay and Kuroka picked up Bush-Up, Volley and Byoko picked Rook, Ozzy picked Pawn because it was the most versatile, and finally Zenobia and Arthur pocketed Knight. Issei then reincarnated them all in desired pieces. Ozzy took up all 8 pieces. A dark red lightning surrounded them. What the? No way. They all mutated pieces. It's safe to say Issei currently has one of the most powerful Parages in history. Seraphil kicked the door open. Alright, that's enough, you all. I'm trying to pick a dress for youth gathering tomorrow. They all deadpanned. You go pick. Your clothes as well. You might not have the time later. Okay, all of them said. Is it time to go through? The Gremory girl might recognize me, Zenobia said. It's going to be alright, Zenobia, Issei replied. Next morning, are you ready? Yes, ma'am, all of them said. Wait, where's Issei? I'm right here. Issei showed up in his balance breaker. Since he has a shit ton of mana, he doesn't know what to do with it. He decided to use the balance breaker as his formal outfit for parties. Oh well, everyone here, so let's go, Seraphil said. She activated the teleportation circle on them all. When they go out of a teleportation circle, they were in front of a large mansion. Come on, we are running late. As they stepped into the mansion, our guard bowed and gave Seraphil directions. Before you step in there, please be aware that there are a lot of high-class devils present. Make sure to put them in their place if they mess with you. Got it? Seraphil said. Everyone said yes. As soon as Seraphil finished her sentence, the wall bursted open, revealing a blonde-haired devil and a blue-haired devil fighting. I think you have a death wish, Cephador, Sigaveri says. You stink of virginity. What's wrong with saying the truth, you stinky bitch? Cephador says. Yo, that's kinda... Issei says. You will understand eventually, Issei-kun. This is what happens when young devils gather. Let me stop that fool before he causes further discomfort for everyone else. Hey you, the blue-haired man whore. What did you... Cephador says. Now either you stop this nonsense and shut your filthy mouth, or I will show you the exit, bitch. Issei says. What do you think you are talking to, peasant? Just because you were promoted to a high-class devil doesn't mean shit. Maximum pain, Issei says. Issei and sent Cephador to the walls. Ahem. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. This man, whore, has brought to you, ma'am. So here he giggles. It's fine. He's taken care of, is he not? Indeed, Issei says. Hey, you're the king of storms, aren't you? Sigaveri says. The other devils look in the direction as soon as Sigaveri exposed him. Ha! I am. Issei, I'm going to search for Sonaton. Have fun, okay? Alright, Sarah, Seraphil said. Wait a minute. Did you just call Seraphil Leviathan one of the 3 mouths Sarah? Sigaveri says. Yes. I haven't told anyone yet, have I? Let me introduce myself again. I am Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern, Queen of Seraphil Leviathan. The room suddenly turned silent. What the And that is the end of Chapter 21. Chapter 22. Loki. Wait a minute, did you just call Seraphil Leviathan one of the 3 mouths Sarah? Yeah, I haven't told anyone, have I? Let me introduce myself again. I am Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern, the Queen of Seraphil Leviathan. The room obviously turned silent. What the language, Issei said. Sorry, but I have several questions, Sigaveri says. Why didn't you reveal your identity sooner? Random Devil said. It would be troublesome. I'm not fond too much of attention, you know, Issei says. Can I have your signature? Me too. A bunch of fangirls started surrounding him. And I'm getting all the attention. You know, I think it's a good thing, Sigaveri said. Rias angrily walked to Issei. You! Ah, the Harris of the Gremory, Issei says. Don't act like you've done nothing wrong, Rias replied. Issei's Parage started to slowly walk over to him. Oh, whatever have I done, Miss Gremory? You stole my Parage member right in front of me, Rias said. Issei smirks and used her own words against her. It was a competition, was it not? You, Rias says. Byoko was mask on. Geez, stop with your bickering, Miss Gremory. Our king does not have a good temper. We'd rather not blow the whole place up, isn't that right? Exactly, Issei says. Rias storms away. Anger is written all over her face. Azazel suddenly turned off an old fallen angel. Please don't escort them in, Barkule. The Queen of the Tomato Head, Akito, flinched when Azazel mentioned that old man's name. The fallen angel escorted an old man with long hair, long beard, and a haired face crawl on a stage. You know, for a dying old man, you aren't looking too bad, Azazel said. It's been too long, Lord Odin. How have we missed your casual homophobic entrance, Zerzek says. Odin, like the Norse god Odin? Issei says. He picks up one of the drinks from the table and took a sip. Lord Odin, mighty god of the north, you honor us with your presence, Seraphil says. I expected more for you, Leviathan, Odin says. She looks up with confusion. A pretty lady such as yourself shouldn't be in plain clothing like that. This is a party, isn't it? Odin says. Good point, Seraphos said. She used her magical girl outfit. Oh my, what the hell just happened? Seraphos says. Have you been living under a rock or something? This is a magical girl outfit. Love it. How would you like to stroke Odin's beard? Odin said. Issei accidentally shattered the glass he was holding. What did he just say? Well, shit, someone flirted with this woman again. Code red, Volley said. Ross Feisa, Odin's bodyguard and assistant, gets into a fighting stand. His killing intent was so instant that every single person, with the exception of the Maohs, Odin, Ross Feisa, and his barrage, collapsed. But boss, calm down, it's just a flirt, Byuko said. Just a flirt, huh? Issei replies. Odin turns to Serzex. Looks like there are a few promising younglings, Serzex. Serzex said. Then Michael and Irina came in. Allow me to apologize for keeping you all waiting, Michael said. Byuko and Volley facepalmed. They just made the matter worse. Now there's going to be a casualty. Odin, all the father of the Norse, looking as hale as hearty as always, your excellency, Michael said. Issei then noticed Irina standing next to Michael. His killing intent intensified even more. He managed to suppress it after a few seconds. Whew, Volley said. Serzex then proceeded to go in on the other races and has learned lessons of the past and live in peace. Lord Odin, if there are no further objections, please sign the monument. The pact monument. Of course, Odin says. Odin was about to sign the monument, but... Objection! I'm surprised he didn't act sooner, Odin said. A teleportation circle opened midair, revealing a blue-haired man. You arrogant fool! I am the Norse god Loki. Greetings! Alright, now we got a party, Azazel says. Loki then went on a rant about how Odin is a disgrace, allying himself with the other races, blah blah blah. If you ally yourself with other races, it would be hard for me to set Ragnarok into motion, Loki said. The song sounds different, but the lyrics are the same. Just admit it. You are just a boy working for the Chaos Brigade, Azazel says. Working for? No. Working with? Yes. But I admit this operation was my idea. Now let me introduce my beloved son, Loki says. Another teleportation circle opened up, revealing a giant blue wolf with horns. Loki snapped his fingers, and Blue Wolf jumped from one place to another, causing chaos. Issei was just about to make his move, but Akeno struck the wolf with her lightning, which did almost nothing. The wolf slowly approached Akeno and was just about to attack her, but the fallen angel known as Barkil blasted it away. This girl is off limits, punk. Oh look, a hero. What the... Loki said. You let your guard down, Beelzebub. Damn you, Beelzebub! He was forcibly teleported away. Well played, Serzex said. Barkil then asked Akeno if she was okay. She ignores him for some reason. Oh, I see what's going on here. Someone has daddy issues. Ha! Issei says. Looks like the storm has passed now, Azazel replied. Ujuku was kind enough to teleport Loki and Fenrir to far away place, but it's only a temporary solution, Serzex said. Yes, I am sure he will press the issue again. This is only the beginning, Michael replied. Odin stood up. As leader of the Norse gods, I take full responsibility. I nodded to my barrage, and they teleported to near Loki's location to fight later. After the meeting was over, Odin went back to Asgard to retrieve Mjolnir, and the devils need to send a group of people to delay him. Sona, her queen, and her pawn Sanji volunteered themselves. Michael sent Irina, and Odin sent Rosvisa. Rias and her barrage surprisingly volunteered themselves as well. I volunteer myself, Lord Lucifer, Issei said. Yes, with Issei there, defeating Loki is not much of a problem, Seraphol said. Alright, but is your queen present, Serzex said. Sorry, but she has her own business to take care of, Issei replied. I understand. Ajuka, you know what to do, Serzex said. The green-haired Maoh nodded and teleported all of them to Loki's location. The pyramid-shaped green seal that Loki is trapped in now shines blue. The seal won't last much longer. We must act now. Issei... Where is Issei when we need him? She says. The seal broke. Well, that was annoying, not to mention rude, Loki said. Hear me, Loki. Attacking the father is unforgivable. If you have a problem, then file your complaints through the proper channels. Enough of that. Talking will get us nowhere, Rhea said. A bright red spear appears in her hand. The gay Blong will take care of him. A devil is in possession of a sacred gear? Now this is getting interesting, Loki said. He then proceeded to unseal his three beasts. Fenrir and the other two. Could this get any worse, Rhea said. Ha! Loki replied. He summoned the Midgard serpent. The Midgard Serpent is worse. It's one of the 5 Dragon Kings, Rhea said. The group split up to deal with the 4 legendary monsters. Sona and her Parage deals with Fenrir, Irina and Rosvisa deal with the other 2 wolves. Finally, Rias and her Parage deals with the Midgard Serpent. To be honest, they're fighting a losing battle. Rias isn't that experienced with Geblung yet. She can't even unleash the Noble Phantasm. Sona only has her water magic and it's not even mastered yet. Damn it, how are they so durable, Sona says. Again, where is Issei when we need him? A blast of black and red lightning struck Loki. Ugh! Who dares ambush me? Issei emerges from the top of the hill. To be honest here, who doesn't want you dead? And who might you be? Loki says. Me? He jumps. A bolt of black lightning struck him. I'm just a businessman. He snaps his fingers. Several teleportation circles opened up. Volley, Arthur, Salter, Kuroka, Zenobia, Lefebvre, Byoko, and Ozzy emerged. What the? Rhea said. He was all for one all along? What kind of sick joke is this? Sona said. Oh, but it is no joke. It was no joke, Miss Seatree, Issei says. He turns to his Parage. Zenobia, Volley, Byoko, Saber, you follow me and take down Loki. The rest of you, capture the 4 beasts alive. They will make a fine specimen. Yes, boss, said the Parage. They all did as they command. Now it's only Issei, Volley, Byoko, and Zenobia versus Loki. Mortals dare challenge a god. What a joke. I bet you can't even last 10 minutes against me, Loki says. Yeah, we can't, because it's all the time we will ever need. Issei says, you little, Loki replies. Zenobia jumps towards Loki and kicks them down to the ground. Loki spits out blood. Ugh. Byoko, extend! The stick in his hand suddenly became a giant pole. Take this! What the? Byoko repeatedly smacked Loki with giant 5 times. All for One raises his index finger and made a giant ball of black and red lightning. Lightning greeting. I will show you what it means to be a god, Loki said. He launched a blue beam of magic in an attempt to block the attack. Futile resistance, Saber said. She snapped her fingers, small red energy spikes rose from the ground and penetrated Loki's knees. Because of the sudden attack, Loki lost his ground and took full force of the lightning greeting. And that should be enough, Byoko says. No, far from it. Remember, we are here to buy time for that old bastard to retrieve Mjolnir, not kill him, All for One says. Loki rose from the ground injured. You filthy mortals! But they didn't say we couldn't beat him until he's barely alive. Issei started evilly laughing. Volley, Issei said. He nodded. Boosted gear, balance breaker, revenger, vanishing dragon, balance breaker, Albion said. With Rias and her friends, he is the Red Dragon Emperor, Rias replied. On top of that, he has the White Dragon Emperor on his side. Konako then noticed Kuroka fighting Fenrir. Big sister, back to the fight. Boost times 10. Divide times 9. Issei and Volley threw a volley of punch at Loki, not giving a chance to get out of it, while Saber and Zenobia slash him in the back whenever they had a chance. They both jump up. Zenobia! Saber! Right! Draconic Blaster / Excalibur Morgan! And that is the end of Chapter 22. I think it's 22. Chapter 23. Sealing Loki. They both jump back. Zenobia! Saber! All for One says. Right, they all say together. Draconic Blaster / Excalibur Morgan. The combined beam attack hit Loki head on, but it isn't that easy to take out a god. Lowly mortals, how dare you? He coughed up blood. How dare we what? My organization is strong enough to take psychic gears from the 3 major factions like stealing candies from children. What makes you think we can't slay a god? Issei says. You, Loki says. Boss, we are done here, Arthur replied. All for One looked towards Byoko's direction and saw the 4 beasts knocked out and tied to Senjutsu chains. When did he? Loki said. Before Loki was able to intercept, Fenrir along with the other 3 beasts were teleported to the laboratory in Issei's castle, and Kuroka was cuddling with Konako. Kuroka, focus on your work at hand. You can cuddle with your sister later. Fine, I will see you later, Shirone. Now that everyone is here, let's give this puny god a good beating before we send him home to his daddy. All of them go at the same time. Roger. Zenobia blasted Loki a couple of times before slashing him with nanobot blades. Azia used this chance to plunge her true Longinus into Loki's chest with a mocking smile on her face. Punny god. She twisted the spear a couple of times before pulling it out, causing the blood to splatter all over the place. Saber slashed him with Excalibur Morgan 5 times before finishing with 5 arc slashes. Kuroka finished off the series of attacks by blasting with the Rin of Senjutsu's blast. Boost! 9×10. Sacred Gear. Gravity Jail. He used the Gravity Jail to pin Loki down. Sacred Gear. Dark Matter. Sacred Gear. Air Manipulation. Spring-like lings, dagger creation, a dark matter tornado with several poisonous daggers, and it appeared from his left arm. Transfer! The tornado got several times bigger than before. Dark repulsor, Issei says. He launched the giant tornado at Loki. Ah! Loki said. He let out a scream of agony before getting blown away. So many fascinating combinations. Can't wait to test them all out. Ugh, pesky mortals, what the? Loki says. He tries to stand up, but his body just won't move. What is this sorcery? This, Issei says. He picks up one of his daggers. Is a dagger laced with a special kind of paralysis poison. Even a god like you has no resistance to it. An overdose of it could cause one to lose their ability to move permanently. You damn mortal, Loki says. Mortal this, mortal that. Do you ever get tired of that? Because I'm sick of hearing it, Issei says. He kicked Loki into a hill. Sona walks over to Issei. Good work, although your identity will be released to the public. I do not care one bit. They can't do shit to me anyways. He looked up and saw a giant warhammer appear through a blue magic circle. Ah, good timing. It's time to send Loki back to where he belongs. He grabbed Mjolnir with his left hand and swung it around for a bit, I must say. Not a bad hammer. I'd rather keep it for myself, but he looks at Loki. I've got better things to do. Boost times 4. Hey Loki, transfer. When you see Odin, tell him like a bitch. He swung the hammer and sealed Loki for good. He tried to curse AFO, but the seal took effect before he was able to complete the chant. A crimson lightning struck Issei again. He was back in his normal clothing. Well, that was satisfying, ain't it, everyone? It isn't every day that we get a chance to face off against a god, Issei, Vali said. I had the fight of my lifetime, Byuko said. The members of Gears of Fate gather around Issei, and he opened a teleportation circle. As much as I would like to be sticking around, we have business to attend to. Haha. And Issei was gone. They teleported away. How much paperwork we need to take care of, Rhea says. Probably mountains worth of them, Sona replied. Damn, Rhea said. After the Loki's attack on the meeting, the news of All for One's identity spread like wildfire. Some people try to take advantage of the fact and threatens Issei with it, but they either got killed on spot or mysteriously silenced that night. The sexually frustrated Seraphal and Saber dragged Issei back to the room for another mating session. Kroka, because of the lewd noises coming from Issei's room, couldn't stand the temptation and rushed into Vali's room. Kroka, what are you doing? I couldn't stand it anymore! Before he could retort, Kroka binds him with some jutsu chains and proceeds to bump him. If you know what that means. The next morning, Issei and Vali emerged from their rooms with cramped legs, and everybody else were laughing their asses off. And I don't know if this is the end of chapter 22 or 23, and I really don't care. Chapter 24, Rating Game, Part 1. 1 month after Loki is sealed, in the morning, Issei was dealing with paperwork as usual. Ugh, damn these guys. Always pushing the paperwork to me, huh? He received a pre-recorded telepathic message by the Devil King, Sir Zex Lucifer himself. It turns out that he was challenged to a rating game by 2 high-class devils. One is the blue-haired brat Zephador, and the other is Zor'ol Hyoudou. Zephador demands a Longinus-class sacred gear if he wins, and Zor'ol wanted to give back Gravity Jail to his knight if he wins. These weaklings just don't know their place. Looks like I need to personally show them where they belong in this hierarchy. He stands up and walks to the game room where everyone is at. Everyone, I am glad to announce that our days of boredom is over. 2 devils and their parages gladly served themselves up our punching bags. Finally, something to do, Azia says. It was really getting boring playing Mortal Kombat, Vali said. I'm going to have a blast toying with them, Kroka says. Anyway, the location of the raiding game is Floating City, Arrakis. Issei says, where the raiding game systems are first founded. Arthur replied, precisely. The 2 raiding games will be broadcasted everywhere in the underworld. More importantly, who are we fighting against? Our first opponent is Zephador Galicia. Lablos, the problem child, Issei says. Not to be ungrateful for free punching bags, but I don't think they will put up much of a fight, Azia said. This is not a fight, Azia. It's a robbery, Issei replies. Azia is visibly confused. For prize of a raiding game, I choose all the money and treasures in his possession. Isn't that a bit too much, Arthur said. Not at all. Since he wants one of my Longinus class sacred gears, a couple of golden coins and jewelry doesn't matter that much, does it? The proj nods. For our second opponent, Zor'ol Hyoudou, a kid who wishes to be a Mao even though he has no magic power. I'd say it's our duty to show him where he belongs. Ha! Seriously, he wants to be a Mao? It's the best joke I ever heard, Byuko said. Kroka and Azia chuckle. People like him are truly hopeless. I almost pity him, Arthur says. Volley just shakes his head. Trasses like him only deserve to be Punch's bag. After the announcement, Issei goes back to his office and pulls up videos of all Sarah Org's rating game. Huh. He only rely on his brute strength. Alright, Volley and I are definitely going up against him. I guess I will let Byoko deal with his queen. He pulls out images of Sarah Org's Parage members and accordingly. A week later, Issei and his Parage arrive at the floating city of Ergus with a Star Destroyer. They were greeted by Azazel, the leader of the fallen angels. Ah, you're finally here. Come on, the people were waiting for you in the stadium, Azazel says. Coming from the east gate, Zephador Gallus with Labios. The crowd cheered as Zephador walked out. Coming from the west gate, Mayana Dishu, a real celebrity. He who defeated the rogue leader class fallen angel Kokaville. He who defeated the army of 1,000 fallen angels all by himself. Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern. The crowd cheered even harder as Issei's Parage walks onto the stage, making Zephador extremely angry. I will show him who's the boss around here. Host. Let's discuss the rulers of this game, shall we? The rating game will be held in the form of a battle royale. Each and every member of the teams will be fighting in a massive team deathmatch. The last team standing wins. Now without further ado, let's the games begin. The two opposing teams step onto the battlefield. Issei taunts Zephador. Don't worry, brat. I will try not to hurt you too badly. Bastard, Zephador says. 3, the host calls. Zephador's Parage get into their fighting stances while Issei and his Parage are just chilling. 2, 1, go! Haven't used this for a long time. Trace on. He traced the gun version of the Kaisho in Byakuga. Remember, show no mercy. The Parage members, Roger. Knock knock, Byoko says. He swung his Furijing at full force. What the? Zephador's rook. Byoko launched at the rook out of the battlefield. Ooh, that looks like it hurt a lot. One of Zephador's rooks has been eliminated. Sorry, but I would have to Issei slices the knight in half, eliminating him. Boring. Bastard, the second knight says. Baruchak, Issei replies. The knight was struck with a bolt of red and black lightning and eliminated on the spot. Oh my, what power, what cruelty! All of the knights of Zephador have been eliminated, the host says. With Ozzy and Kuroka, they are surrounded by all 8 pawns. Promotion, queen! Well, this might be entertaining, Kuroka says. Nah, doubt it. Azia swings her true Longinus, launching a blade of light at her pawns. Ah! Told you, Azia said. What a bummer, Kuroka replied. Kuroka snapped her fingers and showed the rest of their pawns the worst nightmares through illusions, then blasting them off to the battlefield. Now, with Arthur and LeFay, they were facing off against 2 push-ups. That was good, but you have a long way to go before you can put a scratch on me, Arthur says. He cut one of the push-ups in half. Sorry about this, but Issei needs to win this match. List the night, LeFay says. A giant spear of water was conjured above her. No, no, the bishop says. The poor bishop was pierced alive and vanished on the spot. With Saber and Volley, divide! Damn you, White Dragon Emperor, Zephador says. Saber suddenly appeared behind him. Never let your guard down in battle. She slashed him in the back. Ah, Zephador says. Issei suddenly launched himself at Zephador and kicked him into the wall. Oh, come on, Volley. I didn't know you were having fun without me. Lord Zephador, the queen says. Issei kicked the queen into another wall. Shut your mouth when I'm talking. To be fair, it's your fault for being late, Issei. Fair enough, Issei replied. He summons the boosted gear. Boost! Explosion! Explosion! Drake and Albion say. Issei and Volley pointed their index finger at Zephador. Draconic Blaster. Even though the blast was charged with a finger, it was enough to cause a huge explosion. Zephador / the Queen were eliminated at the same time. What a dramatic finish! Issei Hyoudou von Einzbern wins! And that is the end of Chapter 24. Chapter 25. Surprise / business trip to Kyoto / the hero faction. That was boring as hell, Azia says. I know, right? People say that he was one of the strongest devils in the raiding games, but his powers are trash. I can help but agree. Let's hope Sarah Org will provide us with more of an entertainment next week. Issei clapped his hands twice. The starter droid beamed them up and flew back towards the castle. After they got home, a clone trooper came up to Issei, hands him with the yokai stamp on it. Sir, a messenger from the yokai faction delivered the letter this afternoon. They wish to have an audience with you. Okay, thank you, Issei said. He saluted to me before marching away. He opened up an envelope. It contains a map of Kyoto and a letter. Huh. The leader of the yokai faction, Yakuza herself, sent me a written letter requesting an audience with me. It would be rude of me not for showing up. He turns to Volley and Kuroka. Volley, Kuroka, wear some formal clothes tomorrow. We're going to Kyoto. Right. When Issei steps foot in the castle, a maid rushed up to him. Master, please come with me. It's urgent. All right, lead the way, Issei says. He followed the maid to Saber's room. The maid knocked on the door. Come in, Saber said. What happened, darling? The maid told me it was urgent. Well, you see, she blushed a bit. I'm pregnant. Issei had a look of absolute shock on his face. I know, it's shocking, right? Who knew it would be so soon? Darling, Issei said. She lowered to hear that everyone wants to come. Stay home 24/7, only eat healthy meals. You are not allowed to attend any kind of battles, raiding games included. Huh? Saber said. What? Did you expect me to ditch you after finding out you were pregnant or something? Issei said. She waved her hands up, down, and pecked. No, of course not, of course not. Issei gave her a warm hug. I made a promise to you, Sarah-chan, didn't I? We would be together until, no, even at the end, after the end of time. Saber shed some tears of joy. Yes, we will. That night, they fell asleep in each other's embrace. The next morning, Issei woke up entirely. He told the maids to prepare the most healthy and delicious meals for Saber they could. Issei then barged into Volley's room. Volley, it's time to wake up. Oh my, he saw Volley and Kuroka sleeping in each other's embrace. The room was still filled with the smell of sex. Well, someone had fun last night. He took a whistle out of his pocket and blew it. Wake the fuck up, lovebirds! Volley and Kuroka both screamed and struggled to find covers themselves. Issei, how could you barge in like that? Well, I'm sorry for interrupting you two, but we have an important business trip today. Dress up and meet outside the castle. He stepped outside and slammed the door. Volley and Kuroka stared at each other for a moment and blushed. We better get dressed, Volley said. I agree, Kuroka replied. After the duo got dressed, they come outside to see Issei sunbathing. Took you guys long enough. He got up and snapped his fingers. He knew he is now wearing a tuxedo. Come on, we need to go, Issei replied. The trio arrived at the warehouse. Issei pressed some buttons. The door opened, revealing a modern personal jet. Since we are going to one of those populous cities in Japan, we need to be less noticeable. Get in the jet. I will be flying. 20 minutes in the flight, Issei was getting bored, so he decided to play around for a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to experience some strong currents. Please tighten your seatbelt, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience. He increased the plane's speed to max and did some barrel rolls and other maneuvers. Kuroka was holding on to Volley for dear life, while Volley was staying calm. 1 hour later, ladies and gentlemen, we arrive at Kyoto. Thank you for flying with us. We look forward to flying with you again. Flying with you again, my ass! I'm not flying this airline again, Kuroka says. After the trio got off the plane, they followed the map and the letter. They arrive at a fairly large traditional Japanese temple. Not bad at all, Issei says. The trio was soon greeted by a yokai maid. Yes, you must be the guest of Yakuza told us about. Please follow me, she's expecting you. The maid led them to a fairly large room with numerous decorations. You must be Issei, am I right? Yes, I am. And you must be Yakuza. I'm the leader of the yokai faction. Oh, yes, I am. And you must be Yakuza, the leader of the yokai faction. Tell me, why have you requested an audience with me? Yes, I am. Please take a seat, Yakuza says. I will get straight to the point then. The reason I asked for an audience with you is that because the yokai faction want to ally ourselves with you, Mr. Einzbern. Surely you know what my organization plan to stay neutral, Issei says. Of course, I know, but it wouldn't hurt to try, would it? Yakuza replied. The people who wished to ally themselves with me only after my sacred years. I bet your council members only agreed on this meeting only because they want their hands on my trade in weapons. But that's just, Yakuza says, no buts. My faction plans to stay neutral, and now will stay as such in the future. There's no use in trying to sway me into this alliance of yours. He stands up. If there's nothing else, we are taking our leave. Wait, Yakuza says, what now? He replies, how about an arranged marriage between you and my daughter? Mother, Konu says. He looks at her daughter, who's barely over 10 years of age. Sorry, but I do not know we chased by the FBI, and plus, I already have 2 wives, Issei says. The trio starts to walk away, but suddenly purple mist surrounds the temple. 6 people emerge from the mist. A person with black hair, holding a replica of a true Longinus, spoke up. Leader of the yokai faction, Yakuza, you are coming with us. Who are you? Yakuza says. We are from the hero faction of the Chaos Brigade, and I am Ko. I will stop you right there. You have some nerve trying to kidnap someone under my nose, Issei says. And what makes you think you can stop me, Ko replied. Ko suddenly appears in front of Issei and thrusts his spear towards his head, only to be caught between the 2 fingers. He was shocked. Come on, where did all that arrogance go, huh? He lifts Ko up by using his spear and threw him into a wall. A person with white hair and red eyes swung his sword towards Issei's neck. Issei used his repulsion barrier to fling him back towards his teammates. I will give you all one more chance. Go back now and I will spare your miserable lives. As if we'd give up that easily, the girl in golden armor said. She created numerous holy swords and launched them towards Issei. Kuroka jumped in front of them and created numerous layers of barriers. Don't ignore us! Kuroka kicked the blonde into the ground. Ah, you must be Jean of the hero faction. Your sacred gear blade blacksmith will be a wonderful addition to my armory. Ko came to the realization. Wait, it can't be! He looks at Issei in fear. You are all for one! The members of the hero faction flinched at Ko's words. We are retreating now, Ko said. They quickly disposed of the mist and vanished. Chapter 26, The Battle of True Kings. Oh, that was a bore, Issei said. He turned to Kuroka and Volley. We are leaving. We are fighting one of the strongest devils after all, Kuroka and Volley chuckled. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are fighting Cyborg Biel tomorrow night. Yakuza said. What of it? Issei replied. I could tell you the secret behind his strength if you accept. I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. Besides, I don't need to know the secret of his strength to kick his sorry ass, Issei says. Issei looked out the window with a menace look and laughed a bit. How ridiculous it is. A devil without a drip of mana flowing in their veins wished to become the Devil King. Either he's got some serious issues or he's just simply delusional. I suggest you not underestimate Mr. Biel. He is stronger than you think, Yakuza think. Ha! That's a good one, Issei replied. He ignored Yakuza's warning and walked out of the temple. The next day, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here, the host says. The screen showed a picture of Issei and another picture of Cyborg. The crowd cheered. In the waiting room, at the east side of the stadium, Cyborg's Prologue members are trembling with fear. Come on, everyone. They couldn't be that scary. Regulus's pawn. Forgive my rudeness, Miss Abaddon, but we are talking about the Prologue who defeated the Norse god Loki in mere 5 minutes. And the ex-SSSS rank stray devil Kuroka is in that Prologue as well. One of my siblings faced her almost and lost his life. This statement brought everyone more fear into their hearts of Biel's Prologue. Enough! So what if they defeated Loki? We're going to prevail in this raiding game just like the ones in the past. If you are that afraid of them, you can walk out now. All of them stay in their place. Good. May the kings come to the stage, please, the host says. It is time, Issei and Cyborg say at the same time. The two kings walk into the stage. The host then explained the rules of the game just like normal. This raiding game will be held in the form of dice, where the king rolls dice to determine what pieces and how many members can attend the match. And if the king loses even one match, the team loses. It consists of a total 4 rounds. However, the last round will be cancelled if one team wins 3 rounds in a row. The first match is between Arthur and Zenobia of Team Issei, and Libyan Krusel and Bjorka Francis of Team Cyborg. Why does the two knights look retarded as fuck? In fact, why does his entire Prologue look stupid as fuck? And why does his pawn look like Yu-Gi-Oh! Ripoff? Issei says. Volley, Bjorka, and Ozzy and LaFay chuckled at this statement. I guess Cyborg recruited them because that's the one thing they have in common, I guess Volley said. Issei and his Prologue go at the same time. Pfft. They almost burst out in laughter and held it in since they are still in the raiding game. 3, 2, 1, go! As soon as the raiding game started, Zenobia propelled herself towards the two knights. What the? Libin said. Before the two could react, Zenobia transformed her right leg into a blade and killed Bjorka's horse, making him lose most of his battle prowess. So, what can you do without your precious horde, Knight of Biel? Zenobia said. Bastard, Bjorka replied. The Libyan and Bjorka both strike at Zenobia, but she disappeared. Where did she go? Libin said. Right here, slowpoke, Zenobia said. Before they know it, Zenobia was standing by Arthur again. What incredible speed! Even the cameras cannot keep track of her, the host says. I think it's my turn to play, Zenobia, Arthur replied. Just save some for me, alright? Zenobia replied. Arthur took out Caliban and approached the knights of Biel slowly. Let's dance. He disappeared in an instant, slashed Libin in his arm, causing the blonde man to scream in pain. It can't be! A holy sword? Libin said. Arthur seemingly disappeared again and slashed Bjorka's back. Caliban, to be exact. What? Contestant Arthur possesses the ultimate holy sword. Are the Knights of Biel going to lose just like this, the host says? No way we are backing down now, Bjorka replied. He made multiple copies of himself and rushed towards Zenobia and Arthur. Well, this might be interesting. Not, Zenobia says. Both of her arms glowed for a moment. Boost times 4. Divide times 3. Baruka felt he lost most of his power. What did you do? Sorry, trade secret, Zenobia said. She shot Draconic Blaster at every single copies of Baruka, and every shot landed. Baruka, watch out, Libin said. Arthur slashed Libin when he's not looking, eliminating him. Don't let your guard down in battle. I won't give up, Baruka said. He made as many copies of himself as he could. Troublesome bastard, Zenobia shouted. She had no choice but to remove her eye patch. Her artificial eye scanned for the real Baruka. Soul marked the actual Baruka in red. Target located. Found you. She transformed her right leg into a blade again and sliced him in half, eliminating him. What the... Overwhelming victory for Team Issei, the host said. The crowd cheers for the fan of Zenobia, and Arthur cheered even harder. Now please, roll the dice. Cyborg rolled 2, while Issei rolled 1. What an unlucky roll for contestant Issei. Will he lose the round just like that? Cyborg sent his queen Kushina Abaddon as one of his push-ups. Meets Senbach. I know exactly who I need to pick. Volley, it's time for you to shine. Gladly, the Volley said. Oh my goodness, contestant Issei decided to the White Dragon Emperor himself. Wait, Volley, come here for a moment. Okay, Volley said, here's the thing. Volley walks on stage and smirks. Flashback. You see the green-haired girl over there. Take her out first. She has the Sacred Gear trick Vanish. It could lock your powers for a certain amount of time, and that Queen, Kushina, has the power of Hole. It can absorb your magical attacks and fire it back at you. As long as you don't use ranged attacks against her, you should be fine, Issei says. Flashback, end. I suggest you give up now before you even have a chance, Volley said. Oh my, the overconfidence might kill you someday, you know, Kushina replied. We will see about that, Volley said. 3, 2, 1, go, the host says. As soon as the battle begun, Volley vanished from sight and sucker punched Misteda and then kicked her in the face. I don't even know my Sacred Gear to defeat you two. I don't even need. He keeps dodging Kushina's attack while beating the hell out of Misteda. Why does he attack Misteda instead of me? Oh no, does he know about her trick Vanish? Out of the game you go, Volley said. He snapped Misteda's neck, eliminating her. Now it's your turn. Volley summoned Divine Dividing. You, Kushina, she fires some of her elemental attacks at Volley, but none of them landed. It will take more than that to defeat me, Queen of Bell. Shut up, Kushina replied. Why doesn't he use any ranged spells? I cannot use Hole unless he is attacking from a distance. What is happening? Why is contestant Kushina not fighting back? The host says. Azazel, who was one of the commentators of the rating, finally spoke up. It is not that she's not fighting back, she couldn't. Would you mind explaining, the host says? Most of Lady Kushina's combat prowess comes from the unique spell, her family, Hole, which absorbs long-range spells and fires them back at her opponents. And since Volley is using melee attack, the crowd gasped. Come on! Where'd Barato go? Why aren't you fighting back? Volley said. He punched her in her stomach. Ugh, Kushina says. I'll put you out of your misery, Volley says. Vanishing Dragon, Balance Breaker, Albion says. I will defeat you in no matter what it takes, Kushina replied. You will die trying, Volley said. She used Hole and launched attacks that she absorbed from other people. Futile efforts, Volley said. Dividing barrier. As soon as the attacks touched the blue barrier, they were divided into nothing. I will give you one final warning. Give up now or there will be consequences. Never, Kushina says. So be it, Volley replied. He unleashed a deadly blast of demonic power at Kushina, eliminating her. Contestant Volley of Team Issei wins, the host says. It's a shame that Kushina and Marina lost that round. However, I am not done yet, Cyborg says. The two kings rolled the dice again. Issei rolled 5 and Cyborg rolled 3. Oh my Satan! Contestant Issei rolled a 5. 5! What is Cyborg going to do? Azia, Byoko, Zenobia, and Kuroka. You four will come with me. We are ending this game once and for all. It's getting boring, Issei says. Cyborg clenches his fist. Laudia, Regulus, you two will come with me. Ha! Both of them said. Issei, was it? I will defeat you no matter what it takes. Well, I will become blah 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 Devil King. I get it. Wait, a magicless Devil King. What is that? What even is that? I will tell you what it is. Just some stupid legend passed down by your ancestors over a campfire like it's their own drug. Cyborg clenched his fist, resisting the urge to punch him in the face. You! Without further ado, let the games begin. They were teleported this time. The battle takes place in the grassland, with a beach in the background. Issei spreads his arms out. The sun is shining, the ocean is sparkling blue. The mountains can be seen in the background. It's positively perfect. Now all we have to do, his eyes glow red, is decide which one of you gets to die first. I suggest that you do not underestimate us. I will show you devils without demonic powers can still be powerful, Cyborg says. It's no time for jokes, Cyborg. His Parage laughs at the statement. 3, 2, 1. Both teams get into their fighting stances. Go! Regulus immediately changed into his lion form. What? Cyberwork's pawn was the Longinus class Sacred Gear Regulus meta the entire time? Oh, Issei says. He smirks. You four go deal with Cyberwork and his dragon boy. I will play with this kitty over here. Roger that, all of them say. They all started to attack Cyberwork and Ladora. They named Ladora, changed into his dragon form. Alright, come here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Regulus says. He smirks. Knight of Honor. Sacred Gear, no Makoto, and they all pop their Sacred Gears, obviously, combined with Issei's demonic powers. It could be used to restrain both. I will defeat you for my master, Regulus says. I commend you for your loyalty, but I'm afraid it won't happen no matter how hard you try, Issei says. Hear me, the knight who is sealed without Knight of Honor. Why are you serving such a treacherous master, Regulus said. The gem of the black-red ring glowed for a moment before being suppressed by the Sacred Gear Plunderer. If you haven't noticed yet, Nemean Lion, black and red electricity surrounds Issei. Sacred Gears plundered by me have no free will! He lunges himself at the lion, cutting his metal skin like butter. Ah! Regulus said. The lion jumps away from Issei's next attack, but Issei disappears and kicks him into the air. Buttercrack, Issei says. He strikes the lion with a powerful lightning bolt, then restrains him with Enkidu. Now, let's see how they're doing. With Azia, Byoko, Kuroko, Zenobia, Cyberwork, and Lindora. The rook named Lindora was defeated instantly by Azia, and Issei's barrage clashed with Cyberwork for a long time, but are now charging combined beam attacks against him. End of the line for you, fuckface, Azia says. See you on the flip side, Kuroko said. Byoko just laughs. What a disappointment. All of them go, ha, at the same time. Cyberwork managed to hold the beam back. I will not falter here! Ah! A condensed beam of demonic power pierces his left shoulder. You! He turns back and saw Issei standing on a small hill. Ha! Everyone, it seems that you lack the appropriate degree of urgency. There's no time left for you to toy with your prey. He jumps from the hill and lands behind Cyberwork. I hope you'll forgive me for doing this while your hands are tied. He shot another beam at the spot he shot Cyberwork last time. Cyberwork grunts. I've such expected from a self-proclaimed Devil King. Hubris can do something for one's constitution. Issei charged up another concentrated beam of demonic energy. Consider those stronger attacks a tribute to your efforts. He unleashed a barrage of your death beams at Cyberwork. Cyberwork couldn't stand the pain and got pushed back a bit. Suddenly, Issei stopped attacking. Come now, Muscles. You won't direct that power of a devil at me. That is, if there's anything left. Ha! He charged up a death beam and all 10 of his fingers kept firing them at Cyberwork. The wannabe Devil King got pushed back a lot more. Issei stopped attacking once again. Honestly, this isn't much fun if you don't fight back. Cyberwork just starts panting. Perhaps the time has come to put you down without killing you, as regrettable as that is. He extends out his right hand and charges up a massive beam attack. Farewell, Cyberwork. Go back to where you belong with the unrealistic dream of yours. Ah! 2 beams hit at the exact same time. The smoke clears. Cyberwork kneels on the floor with nearly fatal wounds. And that's the end of chapter 25, I think? I'm not exactly sure. My bad, that was the end of chapter 26, so let's just correct myself. Now, we're on to chapter 27, the almighty one / time skip. Cyberwork almost collapses but manages to stand. You! He glares at Issei sarcastically. Oh, I beg of you, please don't hurt the little old me, Issei says. Cyberwork started to walk towards Issei. Master, Regulus said. He nods at Regulus. What is he trying to pull here, Issei says. A golden glow covers Cyberwork. My lion, King of Nenma, you have been called the King of Lions. Answer my howl and turn into my armor. Balance break, Cyberwork says. Oh no you don't, Issei says. He put more draconic powers into Kido, but Regulus still escaped from its restraint. Cyberwork and Nemean Lion merged together and caused a huge explosion. When the smoke cleared, Cyberwork is covered in a set of golden armor. Issei looked at Cyberwork and started to manically laugh. Ha! What's so funny, Hyoudou? Cyberwork says. Can you imagine? A devil with no magic managed to get this far. He spread out his arms. Some individuals think the effort can beat raw talent, but that simply isn't true. No matter how hard you try, Cyberwork, you will never beat me. Cyberwork gets in the battle stance. Play the OST! You pathetic lowly mortal, Issei says. Issei floats up on the air. A black and purple aura covers him completely. Show your reverence and bow down. The whole city, no, entire world is shaking before my Slefador. All of his sacred gears. Balance breaker! A huge pillar of black and violet aura rises to the towards the sky. What in the Satan is happening, the host says. After 5 seconds, the pillar aura starts to fade. My form is greed, and my form is the world. The layer of energy surrounding him starts to fade. Worship me. Give me praise unto me. Me, the beautiful and sublime. Me, the invincible, the almighty and divine. All hail, all for one. What? Zor'ol says. I can feel it. The endless power is flowing throughout my body, Issei says. He released his magic power. The ground started to shake. This kind of power is simply absurd, Zor'ol says. I can't believe he actually did it, Azazel says. Azazel-sama, what in the Satan's name happened to the contestant Issei? Simple. He set all of his offensive and healing-based sacred gears into a balance breaker. The crowd looked at Issei in shock, but I have no idea if his body can handle that amount of stress. Partner, your body cannot withstand with this kind of power yet, Drake says. How much longer, Drake? Issei replied. I'd say 20 minutes, Drake said. Then that's all the time I will ever need. He activated the rocket boosters in his back and his legs to propel himself towards Zor'ol. Propel yourself, worm, Zor'ol said. Their fists clash, but Issei's power is too much for Zor'ol to handle. His armor cracked, and Issei punched Zor'ol in the stomach, knocking him back. A condensed black orb of electricity appeared on his left index finger. Kronos. A large beam of black lightning was fired towards Zor'ol. He had no time to dodge. The only choice he was right is now to take the attack head on. I cannot fail yet, Zor'ol says. The magic attack eventually overwhelms him and engulfs him whole, causing the entire battleground to explode. Issei makes a barrier to protect him and his barrage from the destruction. After the smoke cleared, Zor'ol is still standing. His armor started to have cracks in the center. You managed to stand even though you took my attack head on, Issei says. I still need to become Devil King, Zor'ol says. So that you can prove to your family your pathetic life is actually worth something? How bland, Issei says. He raises his right hand, a colossal sphere of purple demonic energy gathered on top of it. Feel honored. At least I will finish you off with finesse. That power, the power of destruction, Rhea says. The sphere of demonic energy gets bigger and bigger. After months of research, I was finally able to replicate the power of destruction. All I needed was the DNA of that grammar girl and a couple of brilliant scientists. Extinguished star. Issei throws a giant sphere of destruction towards Zor'ol. Right before it hits Zor'ol, he forcibly teleported out of the battlefield to prevent his death. Issei says. Issei deactivates his form and falls to his knees. His form is quite draining. That move was quite reckless, Issei. Folly said. You must stay healthy. You have a child to take care of after all, Kuroka replies. You're right, Issei says. They helped Issei up and went home. 9 months later, the baby was born. Congratulations, it's a healthy girl. The nurse hands the baby to Saber. Issei hugged her. So, what should we name her? Issei thinks for a moment. Chloe. Chloe Pentadragon von Einzbern. Wait a minute, why is her skin tanned? In Issei's mind, I might have had something to do with that. What do you do, Sebzetin? I always regretted not having any descendants before I was sealed by a god, so I transferred some of my energy into Saber's womb every time you mated. Issei facepalms. Why am I not surprised? Kuroka snatched Chloe from their arms. That's so cute. She rubbed her cheeks against Chloe. Anime cry, obviously. Why is she crying? Does she not like me? Issei took Chloe and Kuroka and gives her back to Saber. She's only a baby, Kuroka. She will open up to you eventually. 8 years later, time skip. Papa, Mama, Kuroki Oni-chan, she says. Chloe, they all say. They got no family, huh? I missed you so much, Kuroka said. She rubbed her cheeks against Chloe. Stop it, Kuroka. It tickles. How's school today, Chloe? It was fun. Learned lots of things. That's great. Let's go home and ask Mom to cook up something for you, okay? Yeah, Chloe says. And that is the end to this one. That was a whole movie. So I did a one-shot. This is the first time ever doing it. If you guys want to see more one-shots like this, just let me know. It just takes a lot of my time. Thank you so much for all of the support. It's been absolutely fucking crazy. You guys have no idea. I cannot thank you all enough. Please, let's try to hit over 1,000 likes. This is a whole entire movie. It took so much. It's about 2 hours and 30 minutes, I think. So once again, thank you for all the support. If you want to see what ifs on other anime, go subscribe to my second channel down in the description below, and Palpowski. Once again, thank you for all the support. 30,000 subscribers soon. We hit 28k as of this current moment that I just ended this. Once again, thanks for all the support. Without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.